I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Need to restock inventory, cover seasonal dips, or manage payroll? OnDeck's small business line of credit provides immediate access to funds, up to $200,000, exactly when your business needs it. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and full control over repayment, you can tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. Apply today at OnDeck.com, and funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
A cinematic fever dream based on the visionary game.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
No one said it would be easy.
Return to Silent Hill. Exclusively in theaters, January 23rd.
You have to control yourself!
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking, and then we can all have ice cream and bourbon. We're talking, don't call me crazy, Alan, ever. And we're talking, stop giving me things that come apart. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking In the Jungle, You Must Wait Until the Dice Read 5 or 8.
Oh, man. That, I think, is one of the scariest effects in this entire film.
Joe, it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I was 6 years old when I saw Joe Johnston's Jumanji in theaters, everyone. Yes, as we clued in last week, this is my pick for this month, because this, I love Jumanji, man. I really, rewatching this, I really do think that this is the movie, like, this is the reason why I like creature features so much.
Okay, that is fascinating. I was going to ask you if we should have a conversation about whether to classify this as a creature feature, because there's so many creatures, but typically we would say, oh, well, it needs one to be like a snake movie or a lion movie or something. In some ways, the animals are here, but they're not often the threat.
Right. Well, they're not killing people because we aren't killing people in this movie. And that's I think that's the kind of key here. But yeah, rewatching this, I haven't seen this in quite some time. I probably revisited this when the sequel was coming out in 2017, The Welcome to the Jungle with The Rock. But like, Joe, I have seen this movie no fewer than 200 times. It's probably, I think I wore this VHS out as a kid. I bought the board game that came out after the movie, was really upset that it didn't look just like the board game from the movie.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Well, again, it's expensive to make that thing. So it was just a regular board.
I mean, I guess that's fair. Yeah, you probably don't want to pay $70 for some kind of exotic looking board. But still, I mean, you literally watched the board throughout the entire fucking movie, so...
Yeah, but I gotta say, though, I mean, revisiting this, like, I still really like it. I think this is a really good movie. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, because it's not, like, I know you didn't grow up with this, and it's also, like, I mean, this is very much an effects extravaganza showcase, but...
Yes.
I was a little surprised at, like... I didn't have any issues with the pacing of this movie. I actually think it's paced pretty well. But
me too.
Watching it as a kid's movie, I was like, wow, there's actually a lot of like adult-related drama in this film that I definitely went over my head. Like, you mentioned the bourbon joke. Like, one thing I really remember is I think I learned a lot of adult humor from this movie, because I remember my parents laughing at the bourbon joke, and me being a 6-year-old watching this, I didn't know what that meant. So I was like, why? I was constantly asking my parents, like, well, why is that funny? Like, why is this funny?
Right. It's so hard to even just unpack what makes a joke funny at the best of times, never mind to a child.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the movie that taught me what a Motel 6 was with that Kirsten Dunst line. Like, I watching this, I was like, oh my God, I learned so many things just by watching this movie and asking my parents, what does that mean? Why is this funny?
That is amusing. Yeah, I I cannot tell you when I saw this film. I definitely did not see it in theater, so I must have rented it or maybe caught it on TV or something. This feels like a very, I saw this on TNT or something, like, because it would have been really easy to air on television. Like, there's no swears to it and there's no deaths, as we said. But I was surprised at how adult, at least the conversations between Alan and Sarah are before they both agree to resume the gameplay. Like, I was fascinated by that, to the point that when we sort of softly drop it, because we do have to get back to playing the game and doing the special effects creature extravaganza, right, I was a little disappointed. And I will say, I mean, it's a hiccup. It's not that big of a deal. But when we do get to the end, also, I think that the ending is a huge fucking cop-out.
I fully agree. Even as a kid, I was like, oh, that's really cool. You get to live out your childhood again. But as an adult, I'm like, this is a nightmare.
Yeah. I do have some questions. I'm going to try not to be a logistical piece of shit about, like, how does this work? But yeah, I was like, ooh, this idea that, okay, no, all of these experiences we've had over these 26 years, we just either lose them or we go back into a child's brain and body, but we still have the memories? Question marks.
Yeah. One of my least favorite plot points of any, like, family entertainment, and this is, it's a really big issue I have with the very first Pokemon movie. I hate it so much, but it's basically where, the characters have, there's something that wipes their memory of all the events that happened in the film. And granted, we don't get that with Alan and Sarah, but we do get that with Peter and Judy. And I hate it as a kid. I hate it as an adult. Like, I don't like it. Well, what's the point of the character growth if it all gets wiped away?
Yeah, it feels very unsatisfying, especially because, I mean, folks, we're going to get into it in a moment, but we're talking about it now, so let's talk about it now. I found this fascinating that this is ultimately a film with 4 main characters. Because initially I thought, it's a kid's movie, so it's actually all about Peter and Judy. It's going to be about their arcs. But then you realize very quickly, Alan and Sarah are stunted growth adults. Like, they have basically also been stuck in childhood because of their individual experiences with the board game. So then you realize, we kind of got 4 child or childlike protagonists. And I found that super fascinating. And then again, we get to the ending and you're like, never mind. Fuck Peter and Judy, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll totally get into it. But I guess before I get into my production, the last thing I wanted to say is because I know I've told you, and I've probably made these complaints on the show before about, I enjoy the reboots, the sequels that have The Rock and all them in it. But my issue with it always is the tone of those films compared to the tone of this one, I find very different. I mean, there's still action, adventure, family adventure, but there's a seriousness.
They're slapstick. They try to go for emotional beats and character growth, but it's not anywhere near the same. Like, this is dark. Some of this is real fucking dark.
That's exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't, I would never call this a horror film, even though and it's not queer, even though we're covering this on the Horror Queers podcast, but there is a seriousness and a dark tone with which the original treats the material that is completely lost in those reboots.
Oh yeah, it's family entertainment, full steam ahead, and I get it. Like, those movies are ultimately much more successful. Like, we get a full fucking franchise out of them, so I get it. But also, this feels like the equivalent of entertainment that was being made for children in the 80s. It doesn't have quite that labyrinth, never-ending story darkness to it. Like, I think to me, the closest comparison is actually Gremlins, only nobody dies.
Right.
But yeah, it feels more akin to films like that, which is my roundabout way of saying, we don't make them like we used to, and I will stop sounding like a grandpa now.
We don't. But the funny thing is, this movie is PG rated, and the reboots are PG-13, but I think that's mostly for, like, innuendos
sexual
and stuff. Yeah. So, okay, well, for this production, I'm pulling most of it from an oral history with the New York Times from November 2017 called Making Jumanji with Robin Williams.
Okay, so the New York Times timed it for the sequel release as well.
Exactly. Well, as did Time Magazine, because Time Magazine has Jumanji author Chris Van Allsburg on the story's personal origins and its new reboot. I also I listened to some of the commentary on the Blu-ray, but the commentary, which I was hoping would have Joe Johnston, is actually just the special effects team.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense, because I think when people think of this film, first and foremost, you're thinking about the FX.
And actually, question for you, Joe. How do you think these effects hold up?
I will say, when I was watching the film, I wasn't super impressed with a lot of them. And then I ended up watching a couple of the featurettes on the Blu-ray, and I was startled to reveal, you had actually primed me for this, that many of these creatures are actually animatronic. So I just think they're kind of badly photographed animatronic. Like, I don't think the pelican looks good. I don't think the lion looks great. The monkeys for me are the worst, and those are definitely fully CGI. But even stuff like the alligator, I was like, okay, it looks okay. And then you see it in the behind the scenes footage and you realize, oh no, that was a fucking weatherproof animatronic. And I'm just like, why doesn't it look better? Like, it looks, all of them look great in the behind the scenes, and then in the finished film, I don't think they look good.
That's interesting. I actually do think the animatronics, I mean, they look fake like the anaconda in Anaconda, but it's again that thing where it's like, I don't even know the ratio of animatronics to CGI in this film, but I would say, I don't know, maybe a 50-50 split. It depends. We're still in the era, though, where if we are doing a close-up of something that is CGI, we are still using a practical effect for it, which I appreciate. Like, specifically with that lion.
Yeah.
But I agree. The lion and the monkeys look the worst. But I will say, for 1995 CGI, the hair on the lion looks a lot better than I would have expected it to look for this time period.
Yeah, to be clear, I don't think it looks awful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think you even messaged me offline in between last week's recording and this week. You were like, well, the effects aren't always great, but it's not like deep rising levels of badness. No. And I agree with that. I just think there are times where certain things look much better than others, and certain animals look better than others.
Yeah, it is a thing where I kind of almost wish I can go back and watch my old VHS of it, because I do think that with HD, like TVs, like it is making any CGI from that time period look worse. And I just, I wonder if it looked better on a regular, big box TV with a VHS player.
Yeah, with those cathode rays, baby.
Okay, so, yes, Jumanji was directed by Joe Johnston, his fourth directorial effort, his first three being Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Rocketeer, and The Pagemaster.
Yes, and not gonna lie, The Pagemaster feels like, I have never seen it. I'd never heard of it. I clicked on it because I was like, this sounds interesting. It's very similar to this.
It is. And The Pagemaster is a movie that did scare me as a kid, because we're going through like different genres of books, and we go into Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I mean, I haven't seen it like in decades because it wasn't ever my favorite kids movie, but like it did scare me. And it's mostly a cartoon.
Yeah.
But Johnston would go on to direct big titles like Jurassic Park 3 and Captain America: The First Avenger. So
yes,
he hasn't really done anything since that Nutcracker movie from 2018. Which I think he still might be in director's jail for that.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah. But he actually got to start as a visual effects artist for George Lucas on the original Star Wars trilogy and Steven Spielberg's first two Indiana Jones films.
Okay, so he's had his hand in pretty significant FX work since the start of his career.
Very much so. And I think his debut film being Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is also really heavily dealing in effects, both practical and maybe not CGI at that time, but like something that wasn't fully practical. When they were looking for a director for this, they said, we need someone who knows effects.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You can't make this movie if you don't know how to work with effects.
Not at all. No. So Jumanji is based on the 1981 children's picture book written by Chris Van Allsburg, who was pretty involved with the development of the film. So like the studio had optioned it and had commissioned some screenplays from Allsburg that they weren't really happy with. And at a certain point, it looked like they were going to abandon it. So Allsburg started writing out some ideas, and the studio liked the treatment he had come up with. And so he went so far as to write a script based off of that treatment, which turned out to be just a starting point for the development project, because this initial script was rewritten many times over the course of pre-production.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because in some ways, this seems like such a dead simple story to crack, right? Like, it's absent. It's basically father issues, daddy issues, the movie with animals from the jungle. But it's, I don't know. This is one of those titles where I feel like from the outside looking in, you can just tell, oh yeah, they probably went through 20 different drafts of this screenplay.
Well, it's because, I mean, this is a children's picture book. So it's not even like a YA novel. This is like 30 pages tops filled with pictures and like one or two sentences on each page. So
yeah. And then snakes, and then vines, and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, basically. So it left a lot of freedom when developing a plot for a film adaptation. But I guess, having everyone agree on what was the best plot was an issue. So The executive producers met with Johnston the week that Jurassic Park came out. So this would have been June of 1993.
Sorry, I'm laughing because it's just like, I bet a lot of movies got greenlit the week after Jurassic Park opened.
Right? Like, oh, we can do this now. What's that ILM company? Because ILM, spoiler alert, does do the CGI for this movie as well. And they also did Deep Rising.
Don't hold it against them, folks. We have an episode on Patreon on Deep Rising where we actually, like, Trace goes into what the fuck went wrong with that film. And it was not their fault.
Oh, not at all. It's all, politics and shit. So, and just timing. But they picked Johnston because, yes, he had successfully worked with not only special effects, but it was the young actors in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So they said, you can work with kids and special effects.
And animals. Oh, wait, not really animals, but that would have been the trifecta.
So they take the pitch of the executives at TriStar Pictures, who tell them that they would finance the film with a budget of $65 million, which, adjusted for inflation, that's about $140 million today.
Ooh, okay.
The caveat, they had to get Robin Williams to be the lead role.
Okay. Do you have a story here? Because watching this movie, having not watched it in many, many years, I was just like, when did Hook come out? Because this is basically either a run for him to get that gig or vice versa.
This comes out 4 years after Hook.
Yeah.
Which also, that may be why he didn't want to do it to begin with either, is because they're reaching out to him less than 2 years after Hook came out.
Right. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I love Robin Williams. I don't think he delivers bad performances. Sometimes they seem a little bit more familiar than others, but this definitely feels like, oh yeah, we hired you because we saw you play this exact same character in Hook.
And maybe that's why, like, Hook has never been one of my favorite movies. I liked it.
I hate Hook.
I hate
it
enough as a kid. And I know that a lot of people, there's a big cult following with people of a certain age around Hook. And
sure,
I liked it enough as a kid, but maybe this was the Robin Williams performance I always gravitated to. Like, I was introduced to him through Mrs. Doubtfire, but then this is the movie that I watched all the time with him.
Yeah, it was Mrs. Doubtfire and Aladdin for me.
Right. But see, I'm like 5 years old. I'm not going to know who Robin Williams is voicing Aladdin. Or, sorry, voicing the genie in Aladdin. Oh, my God.
There we go. Oh, my God. Wait, did you know?
Fun fact, though, the voice of Aladdin plays Greg Brady in the Brady Bunch movies.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. But anyway, okay, so screenwriters Jonathan Hensley, Greg Taylor, and Jim Strain were brought on to write the screenplay. And I looked into them because neither one of them had really done much screenwriting before this, although Hensley would go on to co-write the screenplays for both Armageddon and the Thomas Jane version of The Punisher.
Very different movies.
Very different movies. Again, I feel like maybe they were involved with special effects as well, because that's the thing is, like, the effects people were involved with the screenwriting process of this movie. Because they had to be there to go through the shot. Say, okay, well, in this scene, you're going to have this effect. How are you going to shoot it? Because we have to say whether or not you can or cannot do that. And then if we can, we have to then make that note and plan on our end for what the shot is going to look like.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It's not like, oh, okay, how am I going to shoot it? It's, okay, this effect is probably going to take longer than how long it takes you to shoot the film. So we need to be basically in pre-production before you go into pre-production.
Exactly. But it's also like, okay, well, if you have the shot down, but then you change the shot, well, then their plans for how things are going to be animated is completely different than what's on screen. So
yeah, exactly.
And I guess knowing that, that's where I can kind of understand where it's like, oh, is this then art anymore? Or is this just a product? Because we have to work through, again, like, does a director want to be hampered by having to work around visual effects when planning his shot list, you know?
I hear what you're saying, but I would argue that it's always still art. It's just different ways of making art, because I think this is also how we push the medium forward. Like, I mean, Hey, here's the thing. It's December, and we're about to release a new Avatar movie. And every time one of these fucking movies comes out, everybody's like, ew, these movies are so garbage. Like, why is James Cameron wasting all of his time? And it's like, because he's a technical weirdo, and he loves making movies that will push the medium forward, particularly in the visual style. And I think that some people would suggest that it hampers your storytelling ability because you're putting the technology first. But I would encourage folks not to look at it that way. It's about how you tell your story, and the technology is woven into that, because at the end of the day, movies are just light projected onto walls. Like, how do we capture things in front of a camera, turn it into something, and then project it and have it come out looking like movie magic? Like, it's all a little bit technical.
Very much so. So actually, thank you for pushing back on me a bit for that, because I do think you're actually, like, spot on there.
art. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, okay. So Williams actually passed on the original script, and I don't know what differed from that version versus what we have today, but when he turned it down, the screenwriters, along with Johnston, stayed up all night doing a cut and paste job, changing a lot of it around to get to the point where Williams
How do we get him?
And luckily, whatever they did, they changed it up to where he said, yeah, I'll do this now. So I don't know what this looked like beforehand.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as differences from the book, none of the adult characters appeared in the original story.
Right.
The book is very contained. It's just, two kids playing Jumanji in their home. We never leave the house, and it's basically, these two kids have to finish the game before their parents get back.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. So we have two children. Their parents are still alive. And the animals never leave the house. Most of the stuff is the same. Like Van Pelt is a creation of the movie.
Okay.
And then instead of crocodiles in the book, we get a big python.
Okay. Yeah.
Funnily enough, though, Johnston was a little apprehensive at first when it came to casting Robin Williams because he had heard about how Williams liked to ad-lib and go, quote-unquote, go crazy on set. Johnston had a clear vision for the film that left little room for improvisation. And luckily, he said it wasn't like that at all. Williams understood that he needed to be this very critical part of the machine and never go outside of the box. But they would compromise. And every now and then, Williams would ask Johnston after a take, could we please have one more just for us? And Johnston would let them, improv and do it. Mostly with him and Bonnie Hunt, who... I love Bonnie Hunt.
Oh, yeah. Now, did I confuse her for like 5 other actresses of this era throughout most of the film? Because I was like, I think it's Bonnie Hunt, but it also doesn't exactly look like the Bonnie Hunt that I'm familiar with. So maybe I'm just confusing her with somebody else. Not gonna lie, I do think you could sub her out and put in Helen Hunt or just like swap the roles for Twister. And part of me is like, yeah.
It's I think, again, like children of a certain age who grew up in the 90s, like, because Bonnie Hunt was also the mom in the 2 Beethoven movies. And so, and those would have come out around the same time as this too. And so, adults know her from like Jerry Maguire, Rayman, and The Green Mile. But like, for kids, it's Beethoven and Jumanji. And so I was always really surprised that she would never became a bigger actress. But I do also think that she's...
Those are huge titles. What the fuck?
Well, I think she's also a stand-up comedian, but she also does a lot of voice work. Like she's done a lot of Pixar films, like A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Cars, Toy Story, Zootopia. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
She had a sitcom in like 2008 called The Bonnie Hunt Show that I definitely watched, but that was canceled after 2 seasons.
Yeah, she definitely feels like an actress of a certain era.
Very much so. It's almost like the Shelley Long of like the Cheers era. I don't know. But okay, so filming began on November of 1994 and went through April of 1995. So we got 6 months filming this thing.
Not surprising. This is big.
Yes. Most of the exterior shots took place in Keene, New Hampshire, with interiors and the mock-up of the full Parrish house exterior being built in Vancouver. So most of the filming took place in Vancouver. I think a lot of the New Hampshire stuff was like, because we don't have these kids out and about in New Hampshire a lot. So I wonder if it's a lot of the effects stuff with the Stampede and things like that.
I wonder if it's just stuff like the downtown scenes, like the exterior where we're, dodging cars and people are having conniption fits and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Or maybe the suburb section where Van Pelt goes after Alan.
Right. Maybe so. But either way, the bulk of it's in Vancouver. It was winter and apparently very cold and not very pleasant.
Except it's Vancouver, so it's actually not that cold.
David Allen Greer said cold and wet and not fun. But I was like, Vancouver is the LA of Canada, isn't it?
Okay. Here's the thing. Cold and wet does make sense. And yes, it is the Vancouver. Vancouver is definitely the Los Angeles of Canada, sometimes Montreal. But yeah, it's that it doesn't get particularly snowy there, but it's like that cold, wet dampness that kind of gets under your clothes and it's hard to shake. So that's Vancouver in the winter.
That sounds lovely. Well, outside of that, it was a pretty chill shoot. But every Monday night, Robin Williams went to a comedy club in Vancouver, did an hour and a half of improv with the locals, and then another hour and a half of solo stand-up comedy. So
I wonder if he was just like, I can't do it on set. I've got to get it out somehow.
Johnson said it was basically 3 hours of him burning off excess steam. And I was like, you know what? Good for him. And also if he's working with the local improv crew of
that's great.
Vancouver, that's awesome.
Yeah. In the featurettes, it's definitely him and Bonnie Hunt kind of clowning around, and the energy is manic. Like, she is definitely giving it, but he is so fucking on. I could imagine him. You said burning off steam, and that sounds 100% correct.
So I am not in any way meaning this to be a negative thing, but I watched one of it. It was a making of featurette. It's like 20 minutes long on this Blu-ray. And you know, it was a lot of interviews. It was on-set interviews with the cast and crew. And Williams, I was like, oh my God. Like, I've heard him described as like an adult child, not a man child, because I think it has a negative connotation to it. But he's a child in a kid's body. And manic is the best word for it. I was literally like, oh my God, like
somebody needs to tie him to a chair just to keep him in place.
I said I would be so annoyed if I was around this on set all the time. But if you read interviews, it's like people say, oh,
they love him.
Well, they love him, but they also, oh, he's actually a lot quieter than you would expect. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is a thing where he was in his more manic states when the camera was on him.
I think he's turning it on because he knows that it's good press. It's good content for specifically things like interviews. Like, I can imagine him just like cranking it up to 11 or 12 for something like Entertainment Tonight presents Jumanji. Hey, we're trying to get psyched for this movie. And he's like, oh, you want comedy? Let me give it to you. Or
Now, if I had seen that as a kid, I would have been like, oh my God, that is like my idol.
So
like, I want to be that person, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Now, for the visual effects, which are really, again, the star of Jumanji, Johnston collaborated with ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, for CGI effects because he had used them for his The Rocketeer from the early 90s.
Love. Oh my God, The Rocketeer does not get enough respect.
I tried to watch it as a kid because it used to air on the Disney Channel a lot, but I thought it was boring. But I think I would like it more as an adult.
Oh, you would totally love it. And also, Timothy Dalton as a Nazi, fantastic. Like, I mean, this is back in an era where we actually like punched Nazis, and it was a great thing. So it's highly enjoyable in that regard as well.
I was going to say, Sisu Road to Revenge is hitting theaters. If not already, it's going to be soon. So
also satisfying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Johnston does note, though, that Jumanji took place during a transitional moment where it wasn't always cheaper to do things digitally, or it wasn't necessarily cheaper to do something with an analog solution. So they had to figure out which method was best to achieve a certain effect in each individual moment.
Oh, okay. God, that seems like a lot of planning.
For animatronics, Johnston worked alongside visual effects supervisor Ken Ralston, a former colleague from the original Star Wars trilogy. And this guy, by the way, used to work at ILM, but is now the visual effects supervisor and creative head at Sony Pictures Imageworks.
Wow, okay. Done well for themselves.
Yeah, he was a protege of Stan Winston, having worked with him on the James Cameron films The Terminator and Aliens before leaving Stan Winston Studios in '88 to create Amalgamated Dynamics with fellow FX guy Alec Gillis, who was known for his makeup effects. And so their first project together, by the way, was creating the sandworms for Tremors.
Oh.
They would also get Oscar nominations for their work on Alien 3, Death Becomes Her, and Starship Troopers.
Hey, previous episodes, babies. Go and check those out.
Literally all of them.
Yeah. We love a special effects extravaganza on this show.
Now, Johnston, though, is a proponent of the idea that any film should not have one more visual effect than it needs. I know, and this is a direct quote from him. You have the minimal number to help you tell the story and move on. I don't like films that are all about the visual effects. Spectacle for the sake of spectacle. It's such a waste. You're not telling the story. You're just trying to impress people.
That is such an interesting perspective for somebody who is knee deep in special effects. And I would argue it is good advice that maybe some filmmakers could stand to adopt.
I would as well. And, I actually think that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is probably a better character showcase than Jumanji is. But I mean, there is, you said it's like, dad issues the movie, but like there is character work in here. It just, I don't know. I don't think it's a weak screenplay personally, but there were complaints about that from critics at the time.
I don't think it's as thorough as it could be.
Sure.
It feels like it's aiming more for the family-friendly beats that we need / expect when, we're taking the whole family out to the theaters for an evening. Like, it's doing a good bare minimum job, but it definitely could have pushed it a little bit further. Because I'm not going to lie, there are times where I think, okay, we're just setting up the next special effects sequence, as opposed to, let's take a beat. Let's let people actually unpack this. Like, the stuff between Alan and Peter, to me, it just does not get there.
It doesn't. And I think it's because by the time it could get there, we're in the last act and we're just doing...
it's too late.
Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice.
Yeah, we're out of time. The monkeys are destroying the town, as well as the stampede that just keeps coming and going.
That's the thing, though. Like, Robin Williams doesn't appear until 30 minutes into this movie.
It's wild.
I don't think we get Bonnie Hunt until past the 45-minute mark, or maybe the 40-minute mark. So it's like, it takes... I mean, that's the thing. That's why I was talking about pacing issues. I'm like, I don't have pacing issues with this, but I think for a kids movie, it is a slower start.
Yes, it is taking its time. And I do think, we've had so many conversations lately, especially on Patreon, of films that maybe could stand to lose a little bit of their exposition-heavy opening act. And I don't feel that way here because I do think that we're setting up a lot of interesting and good stuff. But I could see somebody coming into this film cold and saying, yeah, it takes forever to get to Robin Williams. It takes forever to get to Bonnie Hunt. What are we doing?
And I would actually argue my issues aren't even with the slower start, but more so, and I don't even think it's a rushed climax, but I think because we have to hit that sweet hour and 45-minute runtime, we don't let things breathe in the back half of the film as much as we do in the first half of the film.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, that does feel like a bit of the 1995-ness of it all. I think if this movie came out even 10, 15 years later, this film would be kissing 2 hours.
Absolutely. Now, another good soundbite from one of these SFX guys, though. So he says, if you can build an object that you can get a lot of mileage out of in a film, meaning you can use it in 25 to 30 shots, well, you're going to save a lot of money. Otherwise, everyone will be doing everything in CGI. And cut to 30 years later.
Ooh, the dark future predicted.
I know, because apparently it's not cheaper. Like it's cheaper to do digital effects now than to do something practical. Whereas here it's like, oh my God, like we can have this one animatronic lion, use it in 25 to 30 shots, cut our CGI shots of the lion down in half and save so much money. And that's not how it works anymore.
No, it's the flip. Unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately. Here's the thing. When FX are done well, I don't mind if you're using a fuck ton of them. It's just that too often I think people immediately go towards them because they are so much cheaper. And that to me is where we start to compromise the art for things like budget or the capitalism, because it's like, oh, well, I really wanted to make this. Here's the thing. I can use it for shark movies in particular.
Right.
Think about the reputation that direct-to-video shark movies have right now. And it's because the shark looks like shit. And it's because we wanted to make a shark movie and we only had the budget to do shitty shark effects.
Well, and the funny thing, I'm glad you brought that up, because the reason that the crocodiles in this movie are animatronic is because ILM said that's not going to look good if we do it because of all the water action.
All the water. Yeah. Yeah. Because at this point in time, we didn't know how to do that well.
Exactly. I mean, again, see deep pricing. Now, this was something I didn't know. I don't know if I fully agree with how this was done, but Johnston told the effects guys he wanted the animals to look somewhat stylized, almost as if they had come from a child's imagination. Otherwise, why wouldn't we just use real animals? But he wanted it to be a subtle stylization so it wouldn't look like, a cartoon animal on screen. But I was like, these look real to me. These look like you were going for realism.
I think for the most part, yeah, like to me, again, the most questionably cartoony ones are the monkeys. And I don't know if it's just because there so clearly is no animatronic comparison to be made, whereas all the other things, I believe that they're animatronic that have been either touched up or in certain specific moments are fully CGI.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I've just never thought about like these looking as fantasy creatures in this movie. Because Johnson does say like over and over, like this is a fantasy movie, and that's why he also defends the ending of the film as it's fantasy.
It's fantasy in the way that it's a board game that comes to life. Like, when we get to the climax of this film and basically we win the game and everything turns into a whirlwind that just sucks all these animals back into a board, like, yeah, that's fantasy. But the idea that these animals are out and roaming around, there's nothing fantasy about that.
No,
it's
not
like
at all.
We could get the same effect if we said, oh, somebody accidentally opened all of the padlocks at the zoo.
Right? Actually, release that movie. So, okay. Jumanji is released on December 15th, 1995 against fellow new releases Heat and the remake of Sabrina. So...
Wild weekend. By the way, Happy 30th, Jumanji.
Happy 30th, Jumanji. I was definitely, if not opening weekend, I definitely saw this in theaters because this was a Christmas family outing for me.
Yes.
And my sister also would have seen this in theaters, and she would have been 4 when we saw this.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There's some scary, scary parts in this film.
I know. So Jumanji opens in the number 1 spot with $11 million. Again, against a $65 million budget. So you're like, ooh, like that's going to have to really leg it out.
Mm-hmm. Which it does.
It remained in the top 10 through the first week of February and grossed $100 million domestically and an additional $162 million overseas for a worldwide gross of $262 million.
Yes. And then we don't get a sequel for several decades, which is like something went wrong.
Well, I don't know what was going on with this because I think they were also looking to make a sequel when Robin Williams was still alive, like in the early 2010s.
Yeah. If you look at Wikipedia, it does say that they tried, and then I think the director that they wanted to helm the sequel ultimately had to drop out, and they basically just said, okay, guess we couldn't possibly find anybody else to do this, so they shelved it.
So this film, $65 million budget, $262 million worldwide. Mm-hmm. When Welcome to the Jungle comes out in 2017, on December 20th, 2017, so it's almost exactly like 22 years later.
Yeah.
$90 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
$962 million worldwide gross.
Massive. And here's the thing. I remember, so I went to see that because I think I got a P&I for it. And I was super trepidatious. I'm not a huge Kevin Hart fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Jack Black fan. The Rock, I can take him or leave him. So I was really...
Karen Gillan.
I was going for Karen Gillan because I'm a big gay.
Yeah.
And it looked mostly funny, but it also didn't exactly look like it was upholding the spirit of Jumanji. So I went in very reticent. Okay, I'm going to see what this is about, but I'm not super excited. I legitimately find that sequel very fun and amusing. I don't think the second sequel is quite as good. It feels like we're trying to go back to the same waters. I'm not super excited that we're doing a third one that's going to come out next year, apparently. Mm-hmm. Whatever. But am I surprised that it made fuck tons of money? No, I am not.
Well, because it came out the same time as The Greatest Showman, and both of them did okay their opening weekends.
And then they legged it. Legged it out.
Because I think it was March, and both of those movies were still in theaters.
Yeah, people fucking love those movies.
Wild. By the way, though, I actually really am excited for the third one. I agree. The next level is a step down. It's not bad, but it just
feels like more of the same. Like, let's rush another sequel into production because that first one made so much fucking money.
And I'm with you. I really like Welcome to the Jungle. I think it's a very fresh, funny movie. But as you said, it does not capture the spirit of this. We are not replicating the tone of this movie in those movies, and that is what I'm worried is going to happen with Anaconda later this year. So stay tuned for that. But I'm excited for the third one, if only because I don't know if you remember this, but at the end of that next level, Bebe Neuwirth comes back in that movie.
And also the animals actually get out of the board and into the real world, which makes it more similar to this original Jumanji.
Exactly. Now, do I think they're going to change the tone to make it a bit more serious like this movie? No. Probably not. But I'm at least finally, because the first one I don't think ended on a pretty big cliffhanger, but that second one being like, oh wow, you finally brought in a character from the original film.
Yeah.
I also love the idea that Aunt Nora is just running a cafe in this town still.
God, well, I mean, I have questions, concerns, and disgruntled complaints about Aunt Nora's treatment in this film.
I fully agree. And this is my first Bebe Neuwirth, so when I saw her getting killed in The Faculty, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. As opposed to knowing that she's basically a grande dame of
Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I learned that later.
I mean, as a child, why would you know that?
Yeah, unless you lived in New York. But critical reaction was mixed. So we're looking at a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, with most pointing out that, it's over-reliant on special effects, not enough on characters.
Okay.
Letterboxd users have given this a 3.6 out of 5. So I think, again, people my age grew up with this movie and watched it a lot.
Not gonna lie, that feels a little bit low, but I don't know what the spread is in terms of when did people... is that new people? Is that people just thinking back on the film from childhood and rating it? I gave this a 4. I found this very fun.
Oh, this is a 4.5-star film for me. I love this film. Very few notes from me, but but okay.
We say that, and then we're gonna go through it and pick it apart.
Exactly. But I do want to highlight Roger Ebert's review for this one.
Oh my god, you sent this to me, and I lost my fucking mind.
I tried to cut out I'm gonna read what I think is just the funniest part, which is about 3 paragraphs in this review. So. He gave this movie a 1.5 out of 4-star rating, but his biggest issue was not really even like the movie itself, but the fact that it was given a PG rating instead of a PG-13 rating. So
yeah, he is so concerned about the children.
And, all right, so what he says is, Jumanji is being promoted as a jolly holiday season entertainment with ads that show Robin Williams with a twinkle in his eye. The movie itself is likely to send younger children fleeing from the theater or hiding in their parents' arms. Those who do sit all the way through it are likely to toss and turn with nightmares inspired by its frightening images. Whoever thought this was a family movie, in parentheses, the MPA rates it a PG, not even PG-13, exclamation point, must think kids are made of stern stuff. The film is a gloomy special effects extravaganza.
Gloomy?
Filled with grotesque images, generating fear and despair.
What? Grotesque images?
Even for older audiences, there are few redeeming factors, because what little story there is serves as a coat hook for the effect sequences, which come out of nowhere and evaporate into the same place.
Yeah, because teenagers notoriously fucking hate special effects, Roger Ebert.
So that's one issue. So then at the end of the review, he writes this. The technicians have filled the screen with special effects, both conventional and animated, in such a way that the movie is now about as appropriate for smaller children as, say, Jaws, which I might point out is also a PG-rated film.
Also, not a good comparison.
Not a good comparison, but maybe it's the creature feature for families. I don't know. But he continues. It's not bad enough that the film's young heroes have to endure an unremitting series of terrifying dangers. At one point, little Peter gets converted into a monkey that looks like a wolfman and goes through the film like a miniature Lon Chaney with a hairy snout and wicked jaws. This image alone is likely to be disturbing to small children. To me, it looked like gratuitous cruelty on the part of the filmmakers towards the harmless young character and actor.
God.
To which I say to that, when I was a kid, I wanted to become the monkey.
It looks amazing.
Yeah,
He's got a fucking tail.
I wanted a tail. So he continues, and this is the key here. The underlying structure of the film seems inspired by, or limited by, interactive video games.
No.
There is little attempt to construct a coherent story. Instead, the characters face one threat after another as new and grotesque dangers jump at them. It's like those video games where you achieve one level after another by killing and not getting killed. The ultimate level for young viewers in this case will be being able to sit all the way through the movie.
Level up, baby.
And I was like, okay, because I think the Mortal Kombat adaptation would have come out a few months before this, because that was also 1995. And I think this is like the peak, the pinnacle of Roger Ebert's video games are not art. I hate all video games like tirade.
He definitely has a kind of hysteria about him from this era. And here's the thing, folks. I know we often come down hard on Roger Ebert, and a lot of people love him. People have a tendency to love his writing, maybe more so than his actual critiques of some of these films. I will just say, I grew up in an era where I was loving all of these films that he was giving these kinds of reviews to, and he felt like the most out of touch old white man. And it's part of the reason I can never get into his fucking writing is because he has such a giant chip on his shoulder. Like, this reads like old man screams at cloud. This is, what's her face? Reverend Lovejoy's wife from The Simpsons screaming, won't somebody please think of the children? Like, shut the fuck up and review the movie, not the rating.
Yeah, I actually do, like, I did like Roger Ebert. You know, I find a lot of I do enjoy his writing, but
his writing is good, but his opinions are kind of trash.
They didn't always seem to align with one another, you know? I mean, I always go back to, like, you know, when he gave Devil's Rejects a really positive review, and it's like, wait. Like, I'm happy you did that, but, like, given how you felt about so many... But I guess with Jumanji, it's kind of like a thing where it's like, you get really angry about this movie. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, did this movie scare me as a kid? Yes. But the thing that scared me the most in this movie that I definitely had nightmares about was Alan getting sucked into that game.
Oh my God. So fucking scary.
Nothing about the creatures. Nothing about Peter turning into a monkey. Like,
it's exciting.
Yes, exactly.
Like, this is adventure. This is an adventure movie. And in the same way, I mean, I know I came down on Hook because it's just, I hate the fucking tone of that film. And also Steven Spielberg, who I just do not get along with, as everybody knows. But, like, it's the same kind of vibe. It's, oh my God, what if regular folks got sucked into this exciting adventure that's beyond their control, beyond their everyday existence, and then you've got to fucking figure your shit out. Like, that is That's the fantasy, Joe Johnston.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the thing where it's like, I just don't think Roger Ebert really was around kids very much. And again, like, are kids going to be scared by this? Yeah, sure, yes, absolutely. But is also, that bad?
Can I refresh your memory of 80s movies that were also targeted at kids, like Gremlins, like The Neverending Story, like Legend, like all these other things, like even, Labyrinth, which is about to celebrate its 40th anniversary next year. It's like, these movies were fucking scary. And sure, they also traumatized a whole generation of kids. But like, I mean, that's what therapy is for.
Yep. It is. And Bonnie Hunt has a really good interview from that New York Times oral history from 2017 where she says, kids always remember that first movie that makes their hearts pound. Then that feeling becomes nostalgic and you want to revisit it and share it with a new generation. And honestly, Joe, like, because people love to ask us, what was your first horror movie? When did you get into horror and all this stuff?
And you're like, it's stuff like this.
It is. And I say Scooby-Doo a lot because I think that is kind of the closest to why I like slasher movies.
Right.
But truthfully, in terms of like a scare, I don't remember the first scary movie that I saw. But I remember seeing Jumanji in theaters in December of 1995 when I would have been 6 years old. And so this may have been one of the first horror movies, quote unquote horror movies, I ever saw as a kid, which is why I liked it so much. So I got my slasher love from Scooby-Doo and my creature feature love from Jumanji.
There you go. It's the origin story of one Trace Thurman.
Very much so. So before I pass this off to you, Joe, because I've gone on pretty long, the legacy for this film. So yes,
okay.
We have the reboots. We've got, Welcome to the Jungle, The Next Level, and then this new third one coming out next year. The first major spinoff of this movie, though, was actually an animated TV series that aired on UPN from 96 to 99. And I watched this, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that it existed in this form, but it makes total sense. Like, an animated version of these adventures clicks. It just, yes, obviously.
The difference is, though, the animated show was more like the reboot. So, like, you still had Judy, Peter, and Nora living in the Alan Parrish house, whatever, but Alan was still trapped in the jungle. We lose Sarah Whittle. None of that's there. And basically, every episode, the kids roll the dice, they get a clue, and they are put in the game. And as soon as they solve that clue, they are transported back out into the real world. And the issue with Alan is he forgot the clue he got when he was sucked into the game, so he is stuck there.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I do like the conceit that once you begin the game, you effectively have to continue playing it, because I could not imagine why people would otherwise continue to play.
Oh, I was like, y'all are really lucky Sarah Whittle still lives in that house.
I mean... Can you imagine? She's like, oh no, I took a job offer. I live in San Francisco now. Oh, fuck.
And then the other big spinoff we get, which again, it's a spinoff because it's based on a book with the same author, but Jon Favreau's 2005 film Zathura with Kristen Stewart and Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've contemplated covering it for my YA podcast.
Oh, it's really good.
Is it? Okay.
I think you might actually think it's a better movie than Jumanji, because I do think that Jon Favreau can, well, at least at this period, can be a better storyteller than Joe Johnston is. But yeah, it's very much Jumanji, but in space. That's what that movie is.
I mean, don't tempt me with a good time.
It's really fun. But yeah, Joe, what happens in Jumanji?
OnDeck is built to back small businesses like yours. Whether you're buying equipment, expanding your team, or bridging cash flow gaps, OnDeck's loans up to $250,000 help make it happen fast. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau and earning thousands of 5-star Trustpilot reviews, OnDeck delivers funding you can count on. Apply in minutes at OnDeck.com. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
A cinematic fever dream based on the visionary game.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
No one said it would be easy.
Return to Silent Hill. Exclusively in theaters, January 23rd.
Okay, so as I told you before we started recording, I'm not going to make you play a game, except for one tiny little one with an actor that we have covered several times. So when we get to Mr. Jonathan Hyde, I am going to play the game with you.
Oh my God. I saw, because my husband also, I guess, didn't really grow up with this either, because he's a little bit older than me. And so he was watching this and he was like, oh my God, I love that actor. And I was like, Jonathan Hyde? Because he was in every 90s movie we know.
Every fucking thing. For a span of about 5 years, you could not get away from this man. And I'm not unhappy about it.
Not at all. I love this actor. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great. And Joe, I'm going to ask you a request for you. When we get to the clues, don't read them out. I'm going to try to recite them from memory.
Oh my God. Okay, good luck, because I definitely do not have the clues in any of these notes. So
good.
How about it?
Well, because remember the board game too. So the clues that they had that were also for things that were in the movie, they were the same clues. But everything else was a new clue they made up.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, obviously. But again, my sister and I would play that game, and we would pretend like it was all actually happening. So, you know, when we got the piranha card, we would jump up on the couch and pretend like the room was flooded with water.
You have to. It's all about building imagination. Yeah.
Oh, man, this was a real nostalgia trip for me.
I love this for you. Okay, so we open in the late 1800s, and I put brothers because I think that that's who they are. If you read the Roger Ebert review, he just refers to them as workers, to which I said, what movie are you watching?
These are definitely meant to be probably preteen children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love, even this first scene of the movie, you know, we have the swirling title card with, again, I think the drums are very ominous, part of the score. But we open in what looks like Sleepy Hollow in 1869.
100%. Yeah. Who knows what the fuck happened in New Hampshire? But yeah, so this is Caleb, played by Cyrus Thiedeké, and his brother, Benjamin, who is played by Brandon Aubrey, and they are burying a box in the woods, and they basically say, okay, our job is done. May God help the soul of anyone who digs it up. To which I say, ooh, ominous. Love it. Let's move on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is such a scary start to a kid's movie.
Yeah, and then we just jump ahead 100 fucking years. So this is now Brantford, New Hampshire, 1969, and we are introduced to one of our several protagonists, young Alan Parrish, who was played in younger form by Adam Hanbird, and he is essentially trying to bike away from Billy Jessup, played by Gary Joseph Thorup, as well as other bullies. So immediately an outsider, somebody who doesn't quite fit in, and he ends up seeking refuge in the factory, the shoe factory of his father Sam, who is played by Jonathan Hyde, and he gets into some trouble, so he is taken pity on by an employee named Carl Bentley, who is played by David Alan Grier. But then Carl ends up getting into huge trouble because his prototype sneaker gets caught in the machine, and oh no, he will lose his job over this.
Yeah, black man loses his job over the mistake of a white child.
Exactly. But don't worry, we will reconcile that by the end of the film.
I don't know if you remember this, but the kid that plays Adam Hanbird, he's the kid that gets the corkscrew in his neck in Halloween H2O in the dumbwaiter scene.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But,
okay.
But I really related to this kid as a kid, you know, because I mean, I wasn't bullied horrifically by this point in my life, but I was still bullied because I would have been in kindergarten or first grade, I think, by this point. I think first grade is when I started getting kind of bullied. And I don't know, I related to him. Luckily, my father didn't treat these scenarios the same way that Alan's father does.
Yeah, this is very much the message of the film, or the journey that Alan and his father have to go on, which is, oh, you're a little bit weak and you need to man up. So I will clarify, folks, if you haven't seen the film or if you haven't seen it in a very long time, it's not as if Sam is terrible in terms of being a father to this boy, but he definitely says, well, you have to learn to stand up for yourself at some point. But he doesn't ask any follow-up questions like, oh, was there more than one of them? Is this happening all the fucking time? Like, maybe take an interest in whether your child is being actively bullied and not just say, oh, well, you need to figure out a way to deal with it.
That's the thing. Like, later, his mom, Patricia Clarkson, by the way.
Oh, I know.
She's like, your father didn't know it wasn't just Billy Jessup. And it's like, wait. Wouldn't that be the first thing you... Like, they're circling the fucking, like, front door of this factory in their bikes.
Yeah, and every indication makes it seem like this is a regular fucking occurrence. Like, you know, you and I have talked pretty extensively about bullying over the course of the podcast. So it's one thing to say, okay, you can't always just tell an adult and expect them to solve your problems. Like, you do need to find a way to stand up for yourself or maybe hit back. And there's pros and cons to all of this. But it's such a weirdly hands-off, like, oh, well, I guess you're not a man yet because you don't know how to not get the shit beaten out of you.
Well, the interesting thing, too, is he's getting bullied not because he's a nerd or he's a loser or whatever. I mean, yes, it's because he's talking to Sarah, who's Billy's, you know, maybe girlfriend. But it's because his dad is like a prominent figure in the town. Like, he's like a public
the poor
figure.
Little rich boy. But also, I do think it's kind of hysterical that this Billy Jessup character is like so afraid of his girlfriend speaking to this boy, and the boy is very adamant. Like, Alan is very clear that he does not think of Sarah that way, to which I said, "Okay," but I just thought it was very funny that it's like, oh, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy for continually talking to my girlfriend, as opposed to, having a conversation with anybody and being like, what's going on here?
It's preteen boys in the 60s. But also,
100%.
The fact that we don't have an older adult version of Billy Jessup get,
missed opportunity.
Fucked up by the animals at some point in this movie. Yeah, I was like, what?
He should own the store that's being looted all the time by the monkeys or something.
He doesn't have to be a character. We just need to see, someone with a name tag of Billy Jessup getting fucked over by these animals.
Yeah. Okay, but before we move on, so as I mentioned, I'm going to make you play the game. So Trace, tell me the titles that we have discussed that involve Jonathan Hyde.
Okay, well, definitely Anaconda.
Yes.
He's in Titanic, but we didn't cover that. So,
no.
Oh my God. There's
a very obvious one where he is part of an ensemble that just recently got its own legacy sequel announcement.
Oh, like a legacy sequel announcement. Is it from the 90s?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
The end of the 90s.
I should know this. Hold on.
It's a bisexual awakening.
Oh my God. I'm so stupid. I just rewatched this. The Mummy.
Yes, The Mummy.
Honestly, I feel like after the 90s, I didn't see him too much until he was starring as one of the main villains in that FX show, The Strain, which is god-awful.
Yes. It's a terrible show. He's actually kind of fun in it, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he's probably having fun being a villain. But yeah, I mean, this man is the 90s.
Yes, although you're still missing 2 titles.
Ooh, that we've covered. Okay,
yes.
Okay. 2 titles that we've covered.
You've crossed off the easy ones, I'm sad to report.
Oh, boy.
One is a period gothic romance.
He's not in Crimson Peak, is he?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Apparently he is. I have no idea what role. I think he might play their father.
Okay, maybe, yeah. I mean,
I was just like, wait, what?
We have an episode on it. I'm sure we mentioned his name in that episode, so I mean,
was he in that episode?
Wait, so I'm still missing one more, though.
You're still missing one, and here's the tricky one. We've only covered this as a micro-queers.
Oh, God, I have no idea. What is it?
It would be Jekyll, the Susie Izzard gender flip trans take on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Okay. Oh, he played the grandfather. Oh,
yes.
So he's barely in it again, probably, just like that Crimson Peak. But
yeah. I mean, this is who he plays a lot nowadays, is somebody's father, somebody's grandfather. I'm not going to lie. I definitely was like, I thought he was the old man in 13 Ghosts as well.
No, that's F. Murray Abraham.
Yeah, I confuse those two all the fucking time.
Were you young enough to where you enjoyed or watched Richie Rich as a kid?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, he plays the butler in that movie. So literally, it's 94, Richie Rich, 95, Jumanji, 97, Titanic and Anaconda, 99, The Mummy.
Jesus.
Him
and Bonnie Hunt, right? There's great
all
run
over the
of
place.
Films. Okay, so needless to say, Billy does beat Alan's ass, and he is drawn to a dig site in the middle of town because he hears drums in the earth. So he proceeds to uncover the crate with a box marked Jumanji inside.
Oh, yeah. I do want to point out James Horner's score for this movie rips.
Mm-hmm.
I love this score so much. And again, I think it's because it has a horror tinge to it.
It does, yeah. It definitely feels ominous. It feels propulsive. I'm going to say it's not quite as bad as some later James Horner scores get, where you're just like, Jesus Christ, somebody tell him to tone it down.
I agree. Because he did things like Willow, Land Before Time. He did The Rocketeer, of all things.
Okay, see, these are all films in the same vein.
Yep. But yeah, after 2000, so he goes from Deep Impact to The Perfect Storm to The Grinch Stole Christmas to Troy to Legend of Apocalypto. By the way, I did not know that James Horner died in a plane crash of his own doing.
I didn't even know he was dead.
He died in 2015, crashed his plane.
Oh. Okay. Dark. Stop
flying things, celebrities.
I get it. It makes them feel alive and they get to take control of their own fate and so on. But yeah, it's like, I didn't want to say it, but there were moments where I found it actively challenging to watch Robin Williams in this film because I was like, he's so happy looking and you know that there's so much darkness in him.
But I think maybe that's why the featurette with him being so manic, as we said, was I was kind of like, oh, wow. Because I did find it a little annoying, as I said. But I also am like, okay, well, is this a front? Like, is he hiding something here? Because I feel like maybe not at this point in time, but as the years went by, I feel like maybe. I don't know. Man, I remember when I got the text that he died too. It still doesn't feel real.
No. And I think that's one of the really big challenges that we as a society have with things like suicide and suicidal ideation is we don't want to acknowledge that it's a possibility unless we can pinpoint, oh, well, show me the sadness, right? Like, how could someone like Robin Williams do this? And you realize it is in part because they're putting on a brave front, or because they're medicated and it's working right now, or because they have people who are actively keeping an eye out for them. But, you know, anybody can be dealing with depression and suicidal ideation. And it's like, it doesn't always manifest in this very societally obvious kind of way. But I think that makes it very hard for us then when we see someone like Robin Williams and you're like, he's the happiest, funniest man on earth.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, but that's not enough.
You just want to make sense of it. And sometimes in these scenarios, you can't. And that's what makes it so difficult.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you hold the loved ones close and you keep in contact with them because you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sadness over. Let's move on with this fun family adventure film. Okay, so yes, we have Alan's mother, Carol, at home. She is clearly the mediator. She's trying to negotiate this relationship between a bit of a stern father and then a kind of queer-coded boy. But, you know, it's very much boo-hoo, this poor little rich boy, because this house is enormous.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, we stay in this house for quite a bit, so we do learn the geography of at least the first floor of this house.
Yeah. The upstairs is less important unless we need to swing around on things.
Yeah, or if we need to go check in on the lion that's sleeping in the bedroom.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So basically, father and son fight, and then the parents leave for the evening, and Alan is determined he's not going to stay here, so he packs his suitcase, but Sarah shows up. And we should note that Sarah, in the young version, is played by Laura Bell Bundy.
Laura Bell Bundy. I'm telling you.
Okay. I don't know who this is. Why should I know her?
She's a Broadway girl. Actually, I'm sorry.
Okay.
She's a country singer and a Broadway girl, but she originated the role of Elle Woods in Legally Blonde on Broadway.
Really?
Like, do you remember when MTV did like the whole the search for Elle Woods? Like, we're making Broadway. She's the one that got it.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't think she does as much country singing anymore because I think something happened with her voice. But you know, she's like a figure.
Okay, shows a to do. Not a ton of her in this film.
No.
Like, Sarah basically gets to briefly play the game with Alan, so she gets her clue. Trace, do you remember the clue?
Oh, yes. At night they fly, you better run. These winged things are not much fun.
Yes.
Also, I'm sorry, Laura Bell Bundy also originated the role of Amber Von Tussle in the original Broadway production of Hairspray.
Okay. Good role.
Yeah. But yes, I got my bats.
Okay. We've got bats. But of course, in true Jumanji form, sometimes we roll the dice and then nothing happens for a beat or two. So you maybe roll the dice again, but then you still have to contend with the previous roll.
Yeah, which honestly, it's kind of like, just leave the door open, hope these things leave the house, and call it a day.
I mean, the biggest thing is that these kids had no idea what they were signing up for, so they didn't realize that something more was going to happen. It's a little anticlimactic on this first roll, which is why Alan just immediately rolls his die. But yes, he unfortunately rolls.
He accidentally rolls his dice because the chime of the grandfather clock scares him.
Mm-hmm.
I do love, too, because, you know, when the pieces, they automatically, like, stick to their spots. And he's like, oh, it must be magnetized or something. And then
sure.
When we cut to the future, Kirsten Dunst is like, it must be microchips or something.
Right. Yeah. Just updated 25 years later. What's the new technology we can blame this on? Okay. So what is Alan's clue?
The one I said, be in the jungle, you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8, which,
yes,
you know, the instructions are right there, but I think about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If Sarah had rolled,
yes,
there's no way they could add a third or fourth player to the game.
Right. Yeah. And I was thinking that if he got sucked into the game and it's just her, it's like, how long might it take to roll that 5 or 7? Like, to play Jumanji by yourself seems impossible because there's no way you can contend with these threats on an individual basis. Like, you need somebody or somebodies to help you because, like, often the threats are just like taking people out and you need someone to rescue you.
Well, Bear, the game board for this is very simple. Like, I think we go through 3, maybe 4 rounds of dice rolls with each character before we end the game. And so it's like, if you just roll really fast, and if it's just Sarah, then ideally, because I'm assuming you would skip Alan's turn if he's trapped in the game. So it would just be Sarah rolling over and over and over again until she finishes. But then would Alan be stuck in the game if she finished and hadn't rolled a 5 or an 8? Does she not get to move forward until she rolls a 5 or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you can't win until you have recovered your missing player or something. But again, it's one of those logistics questions that we're not going to try to get too bogged down on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, needless to say, Trace, for people who haven't watched this movie or who haven't seen it in a very long time, what does it look like when Alan gets sucked into this game?
I mean, it's not like he's melting, but like he becomes a CGI thing, but it's done really well. Like his hands, they like disintegrate. It actually kind of looks like what we will get with the Mummy when things turn into the sandstorm a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, but like it's basically like his hands like flatten almost like Judge Doom in Roger Rabbit, and then he starts getting like it's like his body becomes this swirling, ghostly entity that then just gets swirled into the center disc of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he is screaming. To me, it's the shot when he looks at his hands and he just starts screaming. Like again, as a kid, you're watching that and you're like, "Oh my god! Like what
the fuck is happening?" It's terrifying. Even as an adult, it's very unsettling.
Agree. And I think actually what makes it scary is that in this movie, we don't get to go inside Jumanji, so we can only imagine what he has experienced, and that to me is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll briefly mention particular things. Even that is not as much as I remember, though. I remember him constantly talking about his experiences, and it's mostly that he just has information about how to contend with certain of these threats that will come out throughout the course of playing the game. So needless to say, Alan is gone. Sarah freaks the fuck out. And then this is when the bats come out of the fireplace. So she bats them around. It's a little bit, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. And then
so all of these bats are CGI except for the one that's on her shoulder. And apparently they were filming this during the O.J. Simpson trial. So they named this bat Ito after the judge in the trial.
Wow. Okay. Weird. Also, I do love this little bat because it's basically just perched on her shoulder going, "Hey, what's up?"
It nods at her. I love it.
This bat has personality is what we're saying. Needless to say, she does not stick around. She bolts and we just immediately jump ahead 26 years.
Which I do love this of it's a static shot of the door as we watch the door age rapidly.
Yes, yeah. So no one has been in this house for quite some time. And we enter with Nora, who is Bebe Neuwirth, and she has these 2 adopted kids. They are her niece and nephew, we will discover. So Judy, Kirsten Dunst, as well as Peter, who at least initially is mute. He is played by Bradley Pierce. I don't think this mute aspect is necessary. It's clearly meant to be a trauma response to his parents' recent death. They died in a ski trip accident in the Rockies. We'll get a good joke out of that at the end of the film. But like, I don't know why we make him mute and then have it be revealed later on that he's just not really talking to any adults or anybody except for Judy.
Yeah, I mean, because she says like he hasn't talked to anyone since the accident. So I don't know if we actually use the term mute, but I think it's meant to be a thing because he starts talking more once Alan comes out of the game. Like he will say a couple things to Judy, but he doesn't really start conversing until Alan comes out. So it's meant to tie in with that father theme we're going with here, but as you said, it doesn't fully get developed throughout the film.
No, it feels like maybe a first draft thing, and then this is the 20th draft is the final version that we're watching on film, where we kept it because we like the idea, and it sort of still mostly works, but also it's not something we're actually going to spend any level of time talking about.
No, not at all. We don't have time.
We don't have time. We've got a motor. Yeah. Okay, so we discovered that Nora has essentially purchased this McMansion as a way to like get the kids into a fresh environment. We spend very little time doing much of anything. Like there's the suggestion that the kids are going to go to school, but we never actually get there because, of course, we're hearing the drums and we're lured up to the attic so we can play the game. But I did just want to reference the fact that we get a tour of the building from the realtor, Mrs. Thomas, who was played by Jillian Barber. And I I think as a character introduction to Judy, when she lies about her parents' death, I thought that was a clever way of saying, oh, Judy is a teller of tall tales.
Very much so. But I mean, it's also really fucked up. Like, I mean, their parents died a year ago, and she is telling this realtor that their parents were they were neglectful parents that vacationed all the time, and that we didn't even know if they loved us. But when the Sheik's yacht went down,
again, very Mummy 1999.
Yes, they wrote a beautiful goodbye note that was found floating in a champagne bottle amongst the debris. So, again, as a kid, I remember my parents laughing their ass off at this when it was revealed that it was a joke. But again,
it's dark.
I didn't get this. I was like, why is that funny? And I remember they tried to explain it to me, and I was not getting it. Now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, this is a fucked up kid.
100%. Yeah. And Nora's just like, what are you saying over there? No, that didn't happen. Never mind that.
It's clearly not the first time that Judy has done this, because she walks in immediately and just goes, they were very devoted parents. Like, it was a car crash in Canada.
Yeah. I've had to correct a record several times. Okay, so we explore the house a little bit, and Peter gets scared by a leftover bat up in the attic. So we end up calling in an exterminator who is played by James Handy. And this is when the kids learn about Alan's disappearance. And the urban legend has persisted throughout town is that Sam Parrish, the Jonathan Hyde character, murdered Alan and chopped up his body, and the parts might be somewhere in the house.
Isn't that wild?
It's like, is this Beetlejuice? What are we doing?
Like, again, as a kid, I was like, oh, that's really scary. But as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a kid's movie.
This is fucked up. Yeah, so that is wild. So put that into your back pocket. The kids try to fall asleep that night. I do like this sibling relationship. Again, we're not doing a ton of heavy lifting with it, but it's, I think, important early on to see Judy sneak into bed and she and Peter fall asleep after having a little bit of like, how are you doing kind of conversation.
Yeah, I think the kid actors are really good. You know, Bradley Pierce didn't do much after the 90s. But
he does a ton of voice work, it looked like.
Yes, a lot of voice work. But I mean, Kirsten Dunst already at this, because this is the year after.
Yeah, I really wish that she had have done more things. Like, it's sad that she really just,
disappeared,
petered out after the child acting stuff.
But I think as a kid, I always really related to Judy too, because she's so smart for her age.
She is, yeah. And here's the thing. I don't think that this has the levels that something like Interview with the Vampire has, but like, she is a hugely compelling, I honestly think both child actors are great, and I think that they have a fantastic chemistry with Robin Williams and Bonnie Hunt.
I agree. Like, that's actually the key, that they work well as brother and sister, but they also work well with the adult units too.
Yes, yeah. And again, because I think the adults are coded like stunted children, so it kind of feels like we are watching 4 kids try to make their way through this.
Because I do like that they do treat the kids like adults, but then I guess by your point, they're all treating themselves as equals because they are mentally equals.
Yeah. Yeah, like Sarah is definitely the most progressed because she has actually been through, she will tell us when we track her down eventually, she's gone through 2,000 hours of therapy. And, but I mean, she's still deeply fucked up, like suffering from pretty extreme PTSD, I would argue.
My husband was like, he watched part of this with me and he was like, well, that's not a very good therapist then.
No. Like more than a quarter century has passed, and this woman is still this messed up.
I will say, like, honestly, Sarah's entire story is arguably more tragic than Alan's, and I don't think we really, we get to, like, kind of explore a little bit in the beginning scenes where we re-meet Sarah, but this woman would be fucked up.
Oh my God. As you said, it's wild to me that she even stayed in town, because I just would have vacated. I would have been like, oh, I can't deal being here. And also my reputation precedes itself. Like, I get it. You stuck around so that you could pretend to be a psychic, but no, absolutely not. I'm getting the fuck out of this town.
Yeah, she must have inherited that house because there's no way she's making that much money. I actually wish they would have played more with her psychic stuff, like referenced it later throughout the film.
Yeah, again, it feels like a quirky thing that we did in an earlier draft, and then we liked the joke, but then we just abandon it in the final.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get to the adults, we do have the kids playing Jumanji up in the attic because they are lured upstairs by the drums. First, on the first roll.
Okay, this is the mosquitoes. So it's a tiny bite can make you itch, make you sneeze, make you twitch. You're like, yeah, probably.
It's okay. I don't think a mosquito bite makes you sniff or
sneeze or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, not really. Like,
but
itch for sure. But
I think the reason I like this so much, because I mean, whatever, the mosquitoes we don't get to see these mosquitoes actually hit anyone, though we will learn later that 50 people have gone into what appears to be comas.
Oh no, it's more than that. It's 89.
Jesus Christ. But this was also like this period of the 90s where we were getting like 2 like mosquito horror films. Like there's a movie called Skeeter and a movie called Mosquito that involved like, I think one's a Tobe Hooper film, or maybe no, Gunnar Hansen's in one of them. But
there we go. Okay.
Yeah, I always found the idea of these mosquitoes very, 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 very scary. Even though, again, in this movie, we don't get to see them really do anything.
Yeah, the closest we get is the car attack sequence, and then we hear, as you mentioned, about their paralytic influences. But I was going to wait until we get to the end just to ask you if you have a favorite creature or a favorite action set piece, because I do think the film is loaded with them, but some of them get more to do than others.
I mean, I think the best sequence in the film in terms of like excitement and just production design and effects is the monsoon sequence.
I agree, yeah.
But I really do love all of the vines and plants and stuff.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes I wish we did a little bit more with them. It feels like we use this to convert the house into something more exciting visually, and then we basically say, and I guess the vines stop after that. Sure, they eat the occasional police cruiser, but, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they've made it out of the house, so it's like, wait, how far into the town have these vines made it?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I will say, I think leaving the house and seeing average people who have no fucking idea what's going on with this game be impacted by it is one of the genius strokes. Because if we just stuck in the house, I think it would have been far too limiting. I
agree, unless you can make this like a much bigger house and like have like a different, like, really take different areas of the house. But
sure,
the town is just looting everything.
I love it. It's like, oh my God, there's a couple of animals loose and everybody loses their fucking minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's highly entertaining. Okay, so yes, first roll, mosquitoes. We immediately don't have anything happen, so we roll again. Trace, what's the next?
Okay, I do know this one actually, because this is the clue that taught me what post-haste was, because I didn't know what that meant as a kid. But this is the lion. His fangs are sharp. He likes your taste. Your party better move post-haste.
Yes, yeah. And the arrival of the lion in the attic is pretty good. I like focusing on the teeth coming out of the darkness.
Yeah, I think the reveal is the best. Again, this is when it's still an animatronic, but then immediately we've got to have this thing like tracing the kids down like through the halls, down the stairs, and it looks a bit more fake because it's a very obviously CGI lion.
Yeah, which is so weird because when you do see the behind the scenes footage, particularly of it in the bed, looks good. Like, the animatronic looks good.
Also, I'm really sorry. I did forget the monkeys. And that
I was going to say, I was like, I have monkeys in my notes here as well.
I know. It's this will not be an easy mission. Monkeys will slow or just slow the expedition.
Right, which is true. I think it's funny that to me, the monkeys are among the most memorable, if only because they have a ton of personality when the kids interact with them, or like when we see them on the bike and this kind of stuff. They don't really pose a threat. They're just a nuisance.
Well, okay, but you brought up gremlins twice in this episode already.
Yes.
And I think immediately, because the monkeys come out, we hear, things happening downstairs. Mm-hmm. And what's happening? These monkeys are tearing apart the kitchen, throwing knives and things like that. Like this,
absolutely fucking destroying it. And yes, I do love the knives in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking great touch.
This is Gremlins. Like, there's no other way to look at this.
Yeah, and maybe that's why it works well. I wish that they looked a little bit better.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I actually like all the things the monkeys do in this film.
I do too. I think you're right though too, where it's like, they're always completely CGI. We never get an animatronic monkey in this movie, but like their faces, there's something about their faces that look uncanny in a way.
Yeah. Like, they look a little human and in a weird way. And maybe that's, I think, to prime us for what will ultimately happen to Peter, because obviously he is meant to turn into a version of them. But that's clearly a child actor with makeup. But I think we're meant to start seeing the similarities when his transformation begins. And it's like, oh, you've seen a version of this before. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's becoming a monkey.
I'm sorry, you mean the cruel torture the filmmakers were putting on this poor young actor?
Yes, the gruesome, inappropriate for children. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay. So basically, after the lion and the monkeys and the mosquitoes, the kids say, okay, I think we're done for the day. The problem is that Judy reads, what I call the fine print. So it's like there's instructions on one side of the board that everyone reads, and then there's instructions on the other side that no one ever fucking reads.
No one reads.
And it's the second batch that basically says, don't start the game unless you plan to finish it, because that's the only way to get everything to go back to normal.
But truly, though, if you had read that before starting the game, when you don't know that the things are going to come out of the game...
you would still play.
Yeah, no one would listen to that shit. But at least you would have a clue ahead of time. Like, oh, right, we need to finish the game.
Yeah, like, get that wrist action going and roll them fucking dice. Okay, so yes, we get the lion. The kids are saved because this is when a banana plant wearing Alan, who is Robin Williams, comes out. He's got a knife. He looks basically like a man who has lost his mind, and he's running around the house. He's scarier to these kids than anything else so far. So they end up hiding in a closet. They scream. He screams. Good comedic antics as he's rushing around. But there's also a certain amount of pathos because he starts yelling for mom and dad as he's wandering the house. And you're just like, oh, who's going to tell him?
That is the weird thing, where because he doesn't know it's been 26 years, but it's also like, I mean, okay, I get it. You know, you're in the jungle. You're probably not keeping track of the days. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's like, kid, like, you're a grown man now.
You're an adult now. Clearly, you know some time has passed. But I guess in your childlike mind, you would just assume, well, my parents would never stop looking for me. So they would still be in our house waiting for me to return.
I guess, too, this is kind of a plot element borrowed from the movie Big.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not exact a one-to-one comparison, but, you know, it's a child's mind and an adult body.
Right. Yeah. Not my favorite.
Oh, I love Big. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was like a kid, but like I remember liking it when I was a kid.
You know what? In that era, I will take Splash.
I do love Splash. I always used to cry whenever Eugene Levy, who's the bad guy in that movie, by the way, when he sprayed her down at the restaurant and she turned into a mermaid like in the middle of this restaurant.
Oh, it's so fucking mean.
Oh, it's so sad. But yeah,
Daryl Hannah is so good in that movie. Anyway,
so good.
Okay. Yes. So ultimately, Judy is the one who has to tell him that his family is gone because everybody thought that he was dead because, yes, it's been quite a long time. He does not accept this very well. So we run outside. We immediately get into an altercation with Carl, who is now a police officer. And before we can really start to get into this, the monkeys steal his police cruiser.
I actually do think that David Alan Grier gets a lot of the best, like, funny gags in this movie.
Yes.
I mean, it mostly entails him seeing something and screaming, but it's still funny.
Yeah, I would be very curious to hear from racialized listeners how they feel about this depiction, because it does feel like, what if black men came into white people's story and just screamed a bunch? And I mean, I do think it's a product of the mid to late 90s. This is how popular films would handle minorities, right? It was like, okay, well, we're going to include them, but they're going to be tokenistic, and it's also stuff where we're just going to basically point and laugh at them. But I do think in terms of what he's meant to be doing, like what the character of Carl is meant to do, he and Bebe Neuwirth, like they're just kind of going off having ridiculous adventures throughout most of this film.
Bebe Neuwirth is always the one that I wish there was more of in this movie, because I get it. You know, we're in children's fantasy, so you know she can't be, because that's something in the TV show they do too. In the cartoon show,
Nora, you can't have her just saving them because that defeats the point.
Well, Nora will get transported into the game, into the jungle in the cartoon show, but it's one of those things where every time the episode ends, the kids convince her that it was all a dream.
Oh,
I know. I know. I mean, you know, I like, and that's, I think, maybe why I like the Alan and Sarah bit. It's like, oh, these are adults that believe what the kids are experiencing and are experiencing it with them. Nora's playing the traditional parental figure in your kids' movie here.
100%. And she's also playing that classic, like, late 80s to mid 90s adult role where it's like, we have to clean everything up before mom gets home from work. Or in this case, surrogate mom.
I mean, we can debate whether she's a good surrogate parent or not.
I mean, there is that moment where she says, do I escort you to the bus? Like, would your parents do this? And they were like, don't worry, we've got this. And part of me thought, you know that Judy lies because you got mad at her over dinner for something she got in trouble about at school. Why are you trusting these kids?
I guess it's just a different movie. I mean, it wouldn't be this movie, but where it's like, oh, we're really learning about how Nora's dealing with, she all of a sudden has 2 kids she has to take care of as a single mother.
Oh my God. Yeah. What movie is that? Oh, that movie where it's like, my life completely changed because I suddenly had to inherit my dead family's kids.
and she becomes a better person because of it. There's your
Always.
movie.
I think it's like a Kate Hudson movie or something else.
Actually, is that what Raising Helen is?
Oh my God.
I think
we are
is.
back here again, aren't we?
Go listen to our episode on Skeleton Key, y'all, because we definitely talk about Raising Helen, a movie I have seen, but
cannot remember
anything about.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking about other things that don't entirely work for me in this film, so we have mentioned Alan gets into trouble with Carl, but also because his cruiser has gotten stolen, he runs off. So we're back to just Alan and the kids, but Alan has taken off because he's received this bad news from Judy. And we go into downtown New Brantford, and it's basically like the definition of what middle-class white America is scared about. It's like, what if there was nothing but people who look unhoused, loitering about, just sullying the reputation? It's basically Batman Begins, only for the like white suburbia. And I was just like, this is hilariously comical to me.
It is, but then at the because he'll go to the shoe factory, which is now like just dilapidated and like run down, and
it's derelict your balls.
Very much so. But we have an unhoused, I'm assuming an unhoused man in here that basically tells Alan, oh yeah, like, you know,
your dad lost his mind when he thought that you were dead, and then they both died.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, this is grim. But also, I do love that this man doesn't try to attack him, doesn't try to fleece him, like actually gives him clothes, is nice, because it felt like the film at least doing a service to people who are unhoused in that regard.
This feels like, I mean, I'm saying a holdover. It may not even be related at all, but this feels like a holdover from the both Home Alone movies, which,
yeah.
And, you know, because I feel like, again, kids' movies of this time period were actually very empathetic towards unhoused people and really taught kids to be empathetic towards unhoused people. And so
yeah.
I don't know. I always like there's a reason that the pigeon lady in Home Alone 2 is so beloved by people everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, don't judge outsiders based on their appearance, because sometimes they've just fallen on hard times and they are people too. What a fucking concept, Trace.
And granted, this character isn't a character in this movie. He's just here to deliver some exposition to Alan. But
yeah,
I don't feel the film judging this character, you know?
No, I agree. And I'll admit, initially I was like, fuck this movie. I can't believe they're doing this with this, like, oh my God, look at how badly the downtown has gone to seed. But then we've got this character, and I was like, all right, okay, you've kind of righted the ship. But also, it was at this point, and I definitely had this confirmed in the featurettes, but it made me realize, oh, this movie is basically doing a version of It's a Wonderful Life with Alan.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I never realized.
Yeah, and again, like, I get it. I don't like the way that ends. What I did find, I've never noticed this before, but when he this unhoused person says, oh yeah, the parents are still here. I see them every now and again. And it's like, okay, cut to the cemetery.
Cut to the headstone. They did.
They died in 1991, so 22 years after Alan's disappearance, so 3 years before this. They died 3 months apart.
Yeah. It's one of those, they could not live without the other one because they were both so sad over what happened to Alan.
But they would have been at most 60 years old. At most.
Well, you don't have to remember, we didn't live as long back in like the 90s. So much smoking, so much drinking.
But I do like, because again, Judy tries to lie to Alan about how their parents died. Oh, they were in the Middle East negotiating peace. And Peter's like, shut the fuck up.
Stop it. Stop doing that. Yeah. Okay. So this is around the time when we also see the paramedics packing away Mrs. Thomas. This is the realtor. And we discover, oh, yeah, she was in some kind of car accident because she's paralyzed. And we're like, oh, that doesn't sound great. And Alan immediately understands what this means. So we hide out in the car and we get the mosquito attack.
I actually do like this. The mosquito hitting the windshield is whatever when it starts cracking the windshield. But I just love it when it starts stabbing the roof because it's a convertible. Mm-hmm. So it's a soft roof. And so it just stabs through this thing.
Yes. And Alan, of course, kind of, but mostly cannot drive this car. So he's hitting all the wrong buttons. And we do open the soft roof, which doesn't actually turn into a threat because it's mostly just, oh, wow, he doesn't know what he's doing. But Peter does. So together, the pair of them working collaboratively, we can drive this car, albeit badly, get back to the house. So back at home, Alan cuts his hair. He trims his beard badly, and because he doesn't know how to do it. So, and then this is when Peter reverse psychologizes the stunted adult into playing the game with them.
Yep, this is where I learned what reverse psychology was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but again, we have Alan, because he tells me, oh, you're too afraid, it's totally fine, whatever. And this is a really actually scary line delivery from Alan as he tells Peter, like, you're gonna die if you don't have me. So
yeah, it's basically you have no idea what is in store for you, and you think, oh, it's just gonna be some mosquitoes and monkeys. Like, kid, you're gonna die. It's like, oh my god, an adult is telling a child they're gonna die.
Yeah, but he's an adult child, so there you go.
This is true, yeah. Okay, so Alan declares finally that he is going to play, but when he tries to roll the dice, nothing happens because we realize, oh, this is the game we began back in 1969, and it's not his turn.
Yeah, so we got to go to Sarah's old house, which again, she still lives there. She's posing or using the pseudonym Madame Serena, because I'm assuming she just uses that name now because she seems surprised when they ask for Sarah Whittle.
Yeah, like to the point where I guess she stayed in town, but she completely changed her identity and no longer responds to Sarah Whittle.
Despite the fact that she still lives in her family's house.
Well, yeah, but it's been 26 years, so maybe nobody else remembers.
Yeah, but either way, she faints as soon as Alan says that he is Alan.
She does, yes. Good comedic beat. It's like character introduction. Oh my god, it's you. Blunk.
You killed her.
Okay, so we eventually get to work on forcing Sarah to agree to play because as soon as she sees the board, she has a big old freak out as well.
Huge freak out. I do like because she starts kind of just rambling, and she reiterates the story about how Alan's father chopped him up into little bitty pieces. And we do get this, I think it's a really good line delivery from Williams where he says, my father could barely hug me, let alone cut me into little pieces. And he's just really sad, but she's not having it. He tricks her, man. This is fuck. So he tells her to give him the dice, and she does, but when she does that, he moves his hand out of the way so the game thinks she rolled.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way to basically get the magic moving, but it is... Yeah, it's duplicitous for sure. So what is the game clue?
Fuck, I'm going to get worse at this as the movie goes on because I always knew the beginning ones. They grow much faster than bamboo. Take care or they'll come after you.
Yeah. This one feels a little weak sauce, I'm not going to lie. It's very much there for the rhyme, but I do like the vines. I like the semi-carnivorous Venus flytrap that bursts out. Peter nearly bites it here. It's good stuff. Yeah, I actually think that in terms of the CGI, the vines look the best out of all the CGI. But then there are parts where it's like, oh, this looks like... I actually think the practical vines don't always look as good because they look like someone took like construction paper and just twisted it. If that makes any sense. But yeah, and then these Chekhov's purple flowers, by the way. Yes, yeah, we tease like certain different colored flowers do different things, and you don't want this. So it's like, okay, well, we didn't get the purple flower, so I guess put a pin in it. We'll see if that comes back.
I do wish that yellow big pod that almost eats Peter had maybe made a repeat appearance, or if it wasn't just as easy to take it out by cutting its tongue vine thing.
Yeah, it's basically one tendril is wrapped around Peter's foot. Naturally, we're dragging him in. Everybody's freaking out, and then we just cut it off with a kind of saber. I will say I love Alan's delight when he goes to chop it and the sheath on the sword comes off, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, right now I'm ready."
Yeah. And this is kind of one of the most famous shots in the movie is, Peter like being held, and they're all holding Peter trying to pull him back from this yellow pod plant thing.
Yeah, but basically that's as much as we have to do. We just have to cut off the tongue tendril, and this thing recedes into some kind of entertainment unit, and then we're good.
Well, so then what happens is like they lock all the vines in this one room, which doesn't make any sense to me.
No, because we saw the tendrils literally come out of the ceiling. That was the introduction of these vines, and I was like, locking it in one room, it's absolutely going to get out. It can get out in anywhere. 12 different ways.
Yeah. I did appreciate it, though, again, because these vines are personified. So, like, we have one of the vines, like, tapping the glass at Peter, trying to get his attention.
Yeah. No, I mean, they do have a personality. Not quite as much as the monkeys, but it's still good.
Yeah, it's just lack of eyes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're occasionally cross-cutting back to Carl just because he's still doing different things. He manages to recover his cruiser because he has found it abandoned, but it has partially wrapped itself around a telephone pole, and we will just accumulate damage on this vehicle until it is ultimately sucked into the woods. But I do like it as a recurring visual gag.
I do too, but to which I was like, why don't you just go, can you just go get a new car?
New car. literally take a citizen's arrest and take somebody else's car. I don't know.
I don't think that the Brantford PD wants you driving around representing the police unit with this car.
Well, did you get the impression that he's the only police officer, and then there's the dispatcher that we never actually meet named Lorraine?
There's Lorraine, and then there's whoever's supposed to be driving that motorcycle.
Right, yes. Okay, so there's 2 officers, and maybe only one of them has a vehicle.
A car cop, a bike cop, and dispatch.
There we go. It's a small town. I don't have a good sense of how big this town actually is.
Not at all.
Okay, so yes, he has recovered the cruiser, but meanwhile, Alan and Sarah are unpacking this childhood PTSD. So this is basically the who had it worse conversation. And I like this a lot, and I wish we just got a little bit more of it, because she starts to go, you have no idea what I've been through. No one believed me when you were missing, to the point that I just stopped talking about it. I changed my name, hence the medium shit. And he's like, you had it fucking bad. I was in the fucking game for 26 years. And I was like, this is good stuff.
Yeah. I agree, though. I wish that more came from this. But that being said, though, I think that both Williams and Hunt have really good chemistry together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's not even romantic chemistry, although we will get there as the film goes on. But
which to me is actually the least believable part, but it's okay.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I really enjoy watching them play off of each other.
Yes. Yeah. No, they get along so well, and the chemistry is just really easygoing, but slightly combative in all the ways that you want it to be for a film like this.
Yeah. But nevertheless, she caves pretty quickly, given her 26 years of trauma and like social embarrassment, and agrees to play the game.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those like, well, they're not going to leave me alone until we're done this. And also now this thing has come to my fucking house, or I'm involved, so I might as well just stop trying to resist. But yeah, okay. So it's Alan's turn again, because that was Sarah's turn. So Trace, do you remember the next one that unveils Van Pelt?
Definitely, it's Van Pelt. This is weird because his line is like muffled in the beginning. It's I know it's that makes you feel just like a child. Oh, a hunter from the darkest wild can make you feel just like a child, or will make you, well, something like that. But it's like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is the introduction to our human antagonist for the film. I would argue the closest thing that we have to a villain, and of course, as we said, this is Daddy Issues, the movie. Mm-hmm. So it's Jonathan Hyde in his second role in the film, and I love that he's basically a big game hunter. Like, he's basically Kraven the Hunter. Yeah.
Now, did you remember before you started this rewatch that he also played that same role?
So I didn't remember he was the dad. I only remembered him from this role.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think as a kid, I didn't even realize they were played by the same actor, because they just, they look
he's
different.
got the mustache.
For sure. And, it's like the black hair versus the blonde hair. But like, yeah, I agree with you. I wish that this was kind of developed a little bit more. Or even if Alan could have an actual full-blown conversation with Van Pelt at some point. But
yeah, this, I think, is the closest the film gets to caricature in terms of characterizations. For sure.
Yeah.
Because Van Pelt never says anything remotely conversational to anybody. He is just constantly shooting or scheming.
Well, the most interesting part of Van Pelt for me is later when he's at the discount store and he tells Sarah, I didn't shoot you because you didn't roll the dice. Alan did, which I thought
interesting.
Was really cool. So the things in the game then are aware they're in a game.
Right. Or that they have a specific action, or they're tied to a particular person. Because part of me thinks that in a more twee version of this screenplay, it would have been, the thing that comes out is the thing that you're the most scared of.
Right.
Or it has something personal attached to your experience. And this, to me, is the closest we get to that, because it does feel, we'll come to learn that Van Pelt has a weird relationship to Alan.
Yeah, and we don't even really learn why, outside of the fact that like he just doesn't like Alan. Like, he thinks he's an immature child. But again, that's fascinating, right? Like, Alan and Van Pelt have a pre-existing relationship that we are not privy to in this film. And that is something they do play with a bit more in the cartoon, I will say that, because Van Pelt is a recurring villain in the cartoon.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, Alan takes off running because Van Pelt just shoots at him endlessly until he runs out of ammo. But he also does take out heart of Carl's cruiser because, of course, we've just brought it back and we have to inflict more damage on it.
Yeah, we get a lot of property damage, especially to this car.
Yes, we do. Okay, so Alan ends up sneaking back around after we have lost Van Pelt, and also Carl has left because he's being shot at. So we're back to our central 4 game players, and the next roll, Trace, will bring us Stampede. Do you remember this one?
Yes, I definitely remember. This might be the last one I fully remember, but
okay.
Don't be fooled, it isn't thunder. Staying put would be a blunder. And this is also where I learned what the word blunder meant.
Blunder means, yeah. This feels like a trailer shot.
Oh, I mean, God, it's really good. I mean,
yeah, so this is when they're in the library and we've set up the game board in the middle, and it's a very big open space with lots of books on shelves. And then, of course, we basically start to run as the animals explode out from behind the shelves.
Because there's a recurring gag, maybe not, a bit in this movie where they keep forgetting to grab the game whenever they're leaving. I get it, we're panicking, but
it totally makes sense. Yeah,
Robin Williams has to run back into this room. The game, grab it. And this is a composite shot. It's the Stampede doesn't enter the frame when Williams is still in frame, but there's maybe a 1 second gap between him leaving and the Stampede happening. But this is all the composite shot. It's and I would say that the Stampede is the most obviously looking CGI thing in this movie, but for the most part, it looks okay.
It looks okay. Yeah, they're often moving as a group and they're passing by quickly. They are always stampeding. They are never just walking or milling about.
Did you get a kick out of the stumpy, slow rhinoceros that appears throughout this movie?
I did, yeah. He's always taking up the rear.
So
that sounded dirty and it was not intended to be. But.
Fun fact, this is actually a mistake. So basically when they were doing the Stampede, they noticed that someone on this particular rhino, they added too many frames to the programming, which made it run slower. But then they were like, oh, we like that. So then they added some grunt noises to it to make it like the slow rhinoceros.
It's almost like it's a bit out of breath. Like, hey guys, wait for me. I'm just lagging behind a little bit.
But I just love that. It was an error in coding that they were like, oh yeah, let's use that.
Again, just more personality for some of these animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue we also get that to a lesser degree with this pelican. So the pelican is actually the last animal to come out, and it is the one that steals the game board and flies away.
Which again, I'm like, okay, is that intentional? Is it doing that because it looks like a fish snack? I don't know.
I mean,
the pelican does get I would say the most of a 50-50 between CGI and animatronic.
Yeah, because sometimes I think it looks great, and other times I think it looks like dookie.
Yeah, when it grabs the game, too, with its bill, there's like a blur effect in there, and I think that must be because it's digital, because they couldn't get the animatronic thing to actually support this game, I'm sure, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this game would have weighed this bird down, personally, but...
It's much heavier looking than a fish, for sure, yes. Okay, so before we take off in pursuit, basically Alan just rushes out, because he knows if you lose the game, you are fucked. You're never going to be able to finish it. You'll never be able to put these things back away. So he runs off and the phone rings. And I just need to give credit to Kirsten Dunst because she puts on a British accent to try to fool Nora, who is calling to be like, hey, is everything okay?
I'm sorry, dear, you have the wrong number.
Oh, you got the wrong number. Yeah, so this is when Van Pelt, who has run out of bullets, goes to the gun store so that he can buy new ones. Well, not even new bullets because they don't make bullets that are 100 years old. So he asks the store owner, who is played by Daryl Henricks, if we can upgrade the gun so we get one with, a telescopic lens that's got a laser and it looks ginormous. And I was just like, oh my God, the US again. But,
he knows how to use that gun really quickly, too. A joke.
It's like a point and shoot, yeah.
A joke, I'm going to call it a joke, that went completely over my head as a kid.
Yes.
This gun store owner asked him, you're not a postal worker, are you?
Yes. Okay, so actually, I'm going to explain this because I do have a feeling that if we have younger listeners of a certain age, this won't even resonate with you.
Go ahead.
So in case you don't know, this is a reference to the August 20th, 1986 shooting in Edmond, Oklahoma, when 44-year-old postal worker Patrick Sherrill killed 14 co-workers and injured 6 others before dying by suicide. He did this in 15 minutes. It was the deadliest workplace shooting in U.S. history at the time, as well as the deadliest shooting by a lone gunman in the state of Oklahoma, and it more or less created the phrase going postal. So it became this long-running joke for people because we still don't know how to collectively process our gun-related traumas. Basically, if somebody started a shootout, it was like, oh, are they a postal worker? Did they go postal?
It was like that and the Unabomber were the two like big like things that I heard from crime as a kid. So it was like I heard this and I was like, okay, well, I wonder, what specific instance are they referring to? So I Googled, postal worker shootings 90s, and it pulled up a Wikipedia page that's called List of Postal Killings, and they divide it by country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Australia has 2.
Okay.
Canada has 1.
Okay.
Iran has 1.
Okay.
United States has a long list that is too long for me to count.
Yeah, this reminds me of when I gave you the stats on shootings for schools back in our elephant episode, and it's just like, this is fucking grim, man.
Yeah. So it could have been. I'm surprised it was 86 because in the 90s alone there was 2 in 91, 2 in 93, and 2 in 95 when this movie would have been filmed.
Oof, yeah. Mm-hmm. That is dark.
Anyway, he gets the gun and he's really good at using it. Well, kind of. He doesn't
Yeah.
actually hit anyone with his bullet, so maybe he's not good at using it.
He's good at using it in an intimidating fashion to send people running.
Yeah,
All right, so the game has been stolen by this motherfucking pelican. We track it to the river, and it seems like all hope is lost because even though Alan manages to distract this bird with a fish, the game goes into the water, because of course it does. Mm-hmm. And we get this pretty incredible stunt by Peter where he hangs upside down from a branch I was 100% sure was going to break, and he would fall in, but he does not, and he manages to grab the game out of the water.
And I love this because Alan is like jealous of his ability to do this. So there's like again like this childhood preteen boy rivalry happening between Robin Williams and Bradley Pierce.
Yes, there is. It's very much, oh wow, that was cool, and everybody's really excited by it. I don't like you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so funny. But again, it's here, but we're about to kind of wrap it up in about 2 scenes.
Yes, we are. Okay, so temporarily, yay, we've got the game. Let's set it up by the roadside. But this is when Carl shows up because he sees them walking. So he decides he does not like the look of Alan. He wants to take him in, and Alan goes along with this because he realizes he's being shot at long distance by Van Pelt.
Yeah, but isn't Carl like he's putting him in cuffs in the back of a cop car? I don't think he reads him his rights.
No, it's very much like, why would you even be taking him in? He's suspicious, sure, but like, I don't think you need to handcuff and put him in the back.
And he definitely didn't release a slew of animals on you. Well, I mean, he did, but like, like he didn't like intentionally do it.
Can't prove it.
I think there's some really good acting too from Jonathan Hyde in the scene where he's walking through the forest right before he gets to the cop car, and he's like smelling for Alan's scent. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I made the joke that it feels like he's Craven the Hunter from...
Yeah.
But it truly does feel that way. Like, oh, wow, he's really good at tracking game. And in this case, the game is human. Dun, dun, dun. We got to do more like of those kinds of bullshit films where it's like, oh, the most dangerous... What is it? The most dangerous prey?
The most dangerous game.
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, yeah, so Peter tries to cheat because he realizes that he's only 12 spaces away, so he thinks if we can just wrap this shit up, then we won't have to worry about all of these different things, and we discover what happens, the hairy consequences of our actions.
Yes, a law of Jumanji having been broken, you will slip back even more than your token. So this, here's the cruel torture that this actor was put under. It was
cruel.
For almost 70 days, because we're on a 6-month shoot here, and this is pretty much the back half of the film when he's in this makeup. It was 3.5 hours of makeup application for every day.
Yikes, okay.
And Bradley Pierce was 12 years old at the time, so he says, this is an interview from that 2017 New York Times oral history, but he says, sitting still for a 12-year-old boy for longer than 5 minutes can be challenging. So one day early in the shoot, Robin Williams sat in one of the makeup chairs next to me to keep me company, giving me tips on how to get through the process because he had done it on Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right. Oh, God, yeah. I imagine that was a laborious makeup job as well.
Mm-hmm. But again, for me, I'm like, yeah, you're a kid with a fucking tail, man. Let's go.
I mean, I'm sure getting to see the aftermath of it, like when you get to see the finished effect and you realize, oh, this looks fucking amazing. That's cool. But also, like 3 hours, that is a long fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
That's nearly Titanic. The
This
runtime
is
of
nearly
Titanic.
Titanic. He can watch Titanic while he's getting this done. Well, not at this point because it's before that, but still.
Imagine Jonathan Hyde is like, hi, I'm here to get you through your makeup job. Would you like to watch my 3-hour epic of a James Cameron film?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm quite good in it. Okay, yes, so he is turning into a monkey. It's not great. Speaking of the monkeys, we do see that they are looting stores around downtown. I enjoy that they're watching a movie on the TV and then they break in and then like steal TVs.
The movie they're watching is The Wizard of Oz because they're watching the flying monkeys.
Yeah, and they start to act like the flying monkeys.
Yeah.
Also, I was legitimately surprised that it was The Wizard of Oz because I thought, that wouldn't have been cheap to get, I don't think, but...
Right, and that's Universal, whereas this is Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Anyway, so we probably shelled out some coin to get that sequence, but it feels like a pretty funny payoff.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
We also will see them riding around, as we said, on a police motorcycle later on, and it's like... It feels like a version of like 3 Children in a Trench Coat, that joke that we just keep making.
It's an
like,
adult man.
It's like 3 monkeys on a motorcycle. Okay, so Alan is in the cop cruiser with Carl. This is where he decides that he's going to reveal his identity. And of course, we get, the smash cut joke of the tires screeching.
Yeah, I do think that this entire next segment, I don't mind it, but I do think it's kind of like the paciest / least necessary. I would take more again of this character development of the of Alan and Peter, or going into Sarah and Peter and Alan stuff, more so than we have to go get the game back, because that's most of Act 2 of this movie.
It is, yeah. So basically what has happened is Van Pelt has snagged the game from Peter in this cacophony of like confusion happening downtown, and then Peter chases after him through the crowd, grabs the game back as the stampede comes through, and then he hides in a car that is probably crushed.
I mean, if this were real life, this
terrifying.
Child would have been killed. Like
100%.
This is very scary. I mean, like, because he hides where the pedals are for the car, the front of the car, as all these rhinos and elephants just step off. And granted, it looks good.
It looks really good. Yeah, surprisingly decent. Especially when you see like the elephant go over the top of the car, and it's like, if you watch the featurette for behind the scenes, you can actually see they've got like the images of the car just getting crushed as the feet go over, but there's no feet, and you're like, oh man, special effects are magic,
isn't it? But I imagine that this was actually probably one of the hardest effects to do, because you have to deal with the crushing of the car with the CGI elephant on top of it.
Yeah, and I don't even think they tried to fake the car getting crushed. I think that's all just CGI.
Oh, that's probably right, actually. Well, you know what? It fooled me.
It looks good, yeah. So, needless to say, Peter gets caught in this. Like, the car is crushed around him, so he's kind of temporarily trapped. And this is where, if you thought, oh, well, maybe Van Pelt's not that bad, he's really just focused on Alan or something, he fully grabs the game back and leaves Peter there.
To which, I really don't know how Judy and Sarah get him out of this thing, because I feel like you have to have a machine, like, pull the top off
Where
of
the jaws
car.
of life.
Yeah, exactly that. But
no, they basically just pull him out and chase after Van Pelt, who has gone into the Sir Saves a Lot. And this is where he essentially turns the store into a hostage situation, which is what will alert Carl and Alan to, there's some kind of horrible thing happening in progress. So, okay, look, multiple things are happening at once.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So Alan has asked to be released from the handcuffs because now we know who he is. He's not actually a threat. He turns us around on Carl, so he handcuffs him to the police cruiser. But then when we hear there's a hostage situation, he knows it's Van Pelt. So he gets in, and the two of them have to collectively drive the police cruiser to the crime scene. And
through the crime scene.
Basically, they just drive right through the wall. But meanwhile, Judy and Sarah and Peter have been trying to find a way to get the board game back from Van Pelt, who was like firing the gun off, and it's madness because the store is also being looted during all of this.
He like fires warning shots at the ceiling, and like all the looters are like, "What?
Oh man, somebody's coming to get us!" Yeah,
they're still trying to grab the stuff they're looting before they run away.
Not gonna lie. I mean, I don't want to suggest that everything that's a little over the top kind of cartoony is Scooby-Doo, but this feels a little bit Scooby-Doo, where it's like we're chasing after him to try to, get the game back, and then he's doing something else that, makes us run down a different corridor. So basically, at one point, Peter takes out Van Pelt with a sort of rocket-powered kayak.
Yeah, so I wrote in my notes, I actually appreciate your use of Scooby-Doo because I didn't think about that, but I wrote in my notes, this is a Home Alone booby trap. Like, that's what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because even though I just said, this is kind of like, if there is a pacey issue for me, it's this scene where it's like, we're just trying to get the game back. But,
it's all action spectacle.
Yes, but as a kid, watching this monkey kid set up this booby trap and like, oh my God, I don't know how he did this.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks really cool.
How did he rig this up in 5 seconds to take this man out? No. And then, basically Van Pelt eats shit, goes right through this wall, and then he's just back up 1 second later so that he can take all of them out because they've got the board game again. And he ends up making it so that an entire wall of tires falls down on them. And then they reciprocate by basically he gets slammed into a row of paint cans when Alan and Carl bust through the store. And you're just like, no, somebody's Van Pelt makes it out of this just with like being covered in multicolored paint, and those paint cans should have killed him for sure. 100%. It's not like 1 or 2 paint cans fall on him. It's an entire wall of full paint cans. And the next time we see him, he's got pink and yellow and blue paint on him.
I do think it's a really funny gag when he's flying away on the canoe and he just screams like a girl. He's like, ah!
Yeah, classic late 80s, early 90s gag.
And I never understood what he said because, and I highlighted this in my notes because I felt it again when I watched this yesterday, but when he gets pushed through the wall and he comes out and he's like, rats, and he just goes, Saka-ka-ka! And I'm like, what? Is that some kind of British slang? Actually, British listeners, is that a thing? I really want to know what Saka-ka-ka means.
Yeah, it's baffling. But, I mean, he's our central antagonist, so of course he's not going to be taken out so easily. We've got to keep him around for the finale. Yeah. But we should note that we are also occasionally cross-cutting with Nora, who is still a character in this film. So we do see her pausing at one point when the stampede goes by in front of her, and then a monkey gets into the car and scares her from the back seat, so she drives into the ditch. And later on, she will end up flagging Carl down in his like super badly beaten up cruiser, because remember, we just ran through a store with it. But he pauses when she asks if he will give her a ride, and then he ends up having to flee the car so that they can presumably walk home, because the vines just like fold this car in half and suck it into the woods.
Again, really good effect.
I think it looks so fucking good. And this is practical. You can tell.
So here's the thing. I thought so too, and they said that they actually couldn't get this done practically with the car.
Really?
I know. I was like, wait, because the vine looks practical in this scene too.
Yeah. No, it 100% does.
Yeah. So,
wow. Okay. Fool me. Good job, Jumanji.
Yeah. Maybe it's a thing where it's like maybe the car is CGI, but even then, if that's the case, the car looks good too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it does. It does. Okay, so we have temporarily disabled Van Pelt because he's under all of these paint cans, which means, okay, we've got our central 4 players. We can resume playing the game. Let's fucking finish this up. But first, Sarah encourages Alan to go and have a conversation with Peter, because Peter is looking very upset, and Alan doesn't want to talk to him because he still feels threatened by, Peter's actions at the river. Yes. Basically, oh no, he's so much cooler than me. I don't want to talk to him. But we get this moment, and it's nice. It's just a little too brief, and it just doesn't have quite enough payoff for me.
It's because it pays off in a joke, a gag, where it's like, oh, he's really upset, he's crying. Oh, but it's actually because his tail is hurting him. So Robin Williams has to go, tear a hole in his jeans for this tail to come
basically
out.
Pantses him.
A little bit,
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all in service of the joke, which feels very apropos for a family action comedy released during the holidays. But as an adult, slightly more critical viewer, I was just like, no, make these two connect, because they're both children who haven't been properly parented and are missing a father figure.
Yeah. There is time in this movie to do that, but we're spinning it with the action effects. And I get it. I get the critique. But yeah, as an adult, I agree. I'm right there with you. I want more drama minds from this.
Yeah, like cut out the wall of tires, even though, again, it's kind of amusing to watch a bunch of people get run over by falling tires. But like, we could have not done the kayak and the paint wall and the tires. We could have done one of those and then given 2 extra minutes to a conversation between these 2 legitimate characters.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, needless to say, we finally get home. The house has been completely transformed. It now looks like the jungle, but we're going to finish this up. So it's Sarah's role. Do you remember this one?
Okay, this is the monsoon.
This is the monsoon.
I know there will be a monsoon in your lagoon. That's how she says it.
Yes.
Oh, every month at the quarter moon, there'll be a monsoon in your lagoon.
Yeah, that quarter moon reference seems very specific. Like, I kind of wish that this had been another one of those delays where we think, okay, nothing is happening, it's fine. And instead we just get this gag where Alan starts to put his jacket over his head because he knows what's coming. And everybody else thinks, how bad could it be? It's a little rain.
Logistically, this is the big question where it's like, okay, well, I get why you can't open the door later when the house is flooded. But right now, you can run outside and escape this death trap of a flooded house.
I mean, in their defense, I think only Alan really knows how bad it's going to get. I heard the word monsoon and I was like, monsoon is not a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
If you know anything, you've probably heard it referenced as like, oh, the monsoon season in places like India or Thailand, where it's torrential rain for days at a time.
Yeah, as Alan says, a lot can kill you.
Yes, yeah. I will say, though, this sequence is fucking
It's great.
Great.
It's so fucking good. And again, because the reveal that there are crocodiles is even better because that's not clued in the clue.
Okay, are they crocodiles or are they alligators? Because I'm pretty sure that Sarah says alligator.
She says alligator, but then Alan immediately corrects her and says, "Oh, it's a crocodile." And he says something. He says something about their teeth or something.
It's actually the snout is more angular. It's more like a triangle if it's a crocodile as opposed to an alligator.
Yeah, but either way, this thing floods because they try to run upstairs to go to higher ground.
Oh my god! When they try to go upstairs and we see the amount of water that's coming down, I just thought, do not even try that. You will eat shit and you will probably get concussed.
Yeah, and it's weird because this scene feels so much bigger in scope, but really, in actuality, we're just staying in the foyer, like on this table, trying to get on the chandelier.
Yeah. Speaking of Titanic, which, as we have confirmed, is not yet a thing in this timeline, but it's definitely get on that fucking floating door and try to get as many people on it as you can. And guess what, folks? We get more than one person. So, Rose, you a liar.
You are a liar.
But Jack didn't have to die, and we all know it.
This is also, I would argue, the most like dangerous set piece of the film because Peter falls into the water, and I love it. You know, Alan pulls him out by the shoe just as the crocodile is about to eat him.
So good.
While Sarah is about to get on the chandelier, the crocodile jumps up and like pulls a jaws when it jumps up on the orca at the end. It knocks her down. She has to use her feet to avoid going into its mouth.
So scary. So scary.
And then Alan just jumps on top of this thing and wrestles with it. This is
as it goes into like one of those death spiral things where it like goes underwater and just goes into a death roll, which is so exciting. I wish we could see a little bit more of it. It's a very kind of blink and you'll miss it moment underwater, but it's all very fun. You're like, oh my god, it's Robin Williams riding a fucking crocodile.
And I know you said like you didn't find these animatronics particularly convincing. I think
they're okay. I feel like we almost always build animatronics for specifically crocodiles and alligators because they're just like impossible to work with otherwise. And they often also look like shit if you try to reproduce them digitally. So we've seen much better than this.
I think it's because they don't move very much. Like this actually feels more in line. Actually, funnily enough, with the shark in Jaws.
Right,
because we're not.
It's only so much we could do with it.
Exactly, but I agree though. Like if we did this as CGI instead, this would look so much worse.
Yes. My case in point would probably be the Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle.
A racer.
Which I will say I love. And that sequence ends with the stupidest Arnold punchline ever where he goes, your luggage.
But man, I love watching a movie and being like, oh, we're getting a crocodile attack or alligator attack in this movie.
Yeah, and it's not short. It's not sustained either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. I would argue this is paced very well. Like there's enough contrivances and near misses and that kind of stuff, but it all feels really good. And then of course it ends with a really good comedic stinger because we have Nora and Carl arriving in the lick of time to open the front doors, and then they get blasted by this tidal wave, and we just see them riding doors down the street next to crocodiles.
Hey, they should have been killed by those doors.
Oh, 100%.
But we also, I think this is a really fun shot too. We get like 2 or 3 profile views of the water pouring out of the front doors of this house. Yeah. It looks really cool.
It looks really good. I think we get some slow motion here, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably
too.
So, actually, yeah. But yeah, I was like, how did you film this? This is great.
Yeah. And they really did build the house to be, suitable for flooding it with water and then draining it and so on. Like, this is practical. We will also use the exact same house. Like, they basically built it in sequence so that they could do particular things to destroy it, not have to shoot there again. But, like, they also built the same model house to have the vertical crack for the earthquake that's coming up.
Oh, and that looks really good too.
Which also looks really good. Yeah. It's clearly we spent a lot of money to make this house look good because we were going to trash the fuck out of it.
And that's what I'm, again, like, because I did see a lot of reviews, even on Letterboxd at the time, they're like, wow, the effects have aged really poorly in this film. And I
disagree.
I get it. The CGI does look worse today, 30 years later. Sure. I get it. But
do I think this looks bad? No.
Yeah, it's that blend, and I think the blending of practical with CGI is a really it's evened out. Like I don't look at something and I say, oh, that they should have done that in practical most of the time in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think when it needs to be practical, it is.
And I will also add, I mean, as somebody who went into this being like, the FX look bad, they're not going to have aged well, I was surprised at how much more animatronics they did than I realized. So, like, maybe they're not as convincing. Maybe they could have taken a different route. I don't know. But, like, I fully thought all of the animals were 100% CGI and that they looked bad. And it's like, no, they were trying to find the best possible combination.
Well, and what do we always say? Like, wouldn't we always rather have an obviously fake-looking animatronic than really shitty CGI no matter what? Always
and forever.
Mm-hmm.
Give me practical first, and then if you can't get you across that line, touch it up.
Touch it up. That's the key. Touch it up.
Yes. Do not paint over it. Okay, so Alan and Sarah have a brief intimate moment. This makes it sound dirty. It's just him lifting her off of the chandelier, but there's a clear moment of romantic flirtation, and I think we're meant to be reminded, oh, right, as children, the supposition was that there was something more there than just friendship, and Alan just never really accepted it.
I know. Fine. It's a thing where it's like this feels like Hollywood, like obligatory plot.
Can we get a romance in there?
But we don't need it. And especially when like the beginning of the movie made it very clear that they were quote unquote just friends.
Yeah, I took that to be, especially in hindsight, when we know where it's going to go, I took it to be, oh, she's more mature because she's a girl, and girls mature faster in the teenage years. So she understands there is something more to it, and Alan's a bit of a dumb boy who hasn't figured out his feelings yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I still don't think we need it. I don't think it fully works, but whatever, we're moving on.
Yeah, but Hunt and Williams have the chemistry at least.
There we go. Yes. Okay, so we take the action up to the attic. We're going to finish this game. We have managed to get so close. So Alan's role leaves him trapped in quicksand. I don't think this effect looks super great, but I do like where it leaves him, where Judy essentially rolls to move on, and he and Sarah both end up getting partially trapped in the floor. Yeah, and I think it's very scary.
I agree, actually. I wonder, too, I was thinking just for Williams, like having to film the scene with his face like partially submerged in this wood flooring. But yeah, the quicksand CGI looks
not great.
It's a couple shots, doesn't last very long, and then bam, this thing gets hard.
Exactly. All these unintended sexual euphemisms. Traits, though, do you remember either of these two clues? So we have Alan's for the quicksand, and then whatever Judy pulls to move forward.
The floor. I know I was in the back half. The floor is quicker than the sand.
Okay.
Beware the ground on which you stand. The floor is quicker than the sand. Judy's is something about going back a turn.
Yeah, I will confess this is one of those pieces where I just thought to myself, don't worry about the logistics, because I don't understand why her turn doesn't produce anything. It just sort of stops the quicksand.
Yeah. There is a lesson you will learn. Sometimes you must go back a turn. But I'm like, well, what's the lesson?
Wait, and what?
Well, because I will say this. I did look up there's Chris Van Allsburg reads the book on one of these Blu-ray featurettes. And so almost every single turn these kids take in the book is miss one turn. And the clues in the book, by the way, it's lion attacks, move back 2 spaces. Monkeys steal food, miss one turn. Monsoon season begins, miss one turn. Guide gets lost, lose a turn. So...
That's a lot of lost turns.
Yeah, I was like,
Christ, no wonder you never finished the fucking game.
I know. I was like, how are you playing? But I can only think this was maybe a holdover from maybe even Allsburg's original Treeventer script that they left in because it was narratively convenient.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you want to delay people finishing this relatively shortish game, as we learn, most people can finish it in just like, what did you say?
3 or 4? Yeah.
Yeah. Losing a turn continuously would definitely impact your ability to make any forward momentum.
Yeah.
Also, it sounds like an annoying game to play, but okay.
I mean, that's Jumanji. It's very annoying.
Jumanji. Okay, so Alan is stuck in the floor. Sarah is partially stuck in the floor. Judy has done it so that it's not going to continue, but that is her role, which leaves Peter. So Peter is the next role, and he will unleash enormous spiders. Trace, what is this one?
I know this one. I used to say this all the time as a kid. Need a hand? Why, just you wait. We'll help you out. We each have... 8? Honestly, I think when I think about good practical effects in this movie, I do think about these spiders.
They look great.
There's a close-up of one of their fangs as the fangs are like moving and like the venom is leaking out of them. Like, this is so cool looking.
My favorite is the one that we get to see descending in the foreground on a string. And, well, it's webbing, obviously, but I mean, we know immediately as soon as the clue gets read, it's going to be spiders, and it's a question of like how many, how big, and so on. But there's just, there's something about watching a spider descend that even if you're not really an arachnophobe, this will give you the heebie-jeebies.
Because these are 100% real. I think
they look so good.
We might use CGI, or I'm going to even argue stop motion effects whenever the earthquake's about to start and they all back up. Like they look sped up in a way where I was like, that looks kind of stop motion-y, but it also might just be sped up film.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But yeah, again, funny joke, Alan tells Peter, "Oh, my dad kept an axe in the tool shed." And
oh my God, this killed me.
And it's locked, and there's an axe lying by, and he starts using it. But then this is a fourth wall break, right?
Kind of, yeah. There's a winkiness to this where Peter goes to hit the lock with the axe, realizes I have the axe in my hand. This is what I came for, and kind of gives like us a beat, like we're all there, right? Okay, cool. Let's move on.
He doesn't wink, but he fully like looks at the camera for about a second and a half, and then we move on.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, Judy has been doing her best to, sweep spiders away. We've mostly been trying to just keep them off of the adults because, of course, they can't move. They're stuck in place. So, I will say, even when Peter comes back with the axe, this is the most, 12-year-old, 9-year-old character ever. Mm-hmm. He's just kind of swiping with this axe and never connecting with any of them.
No, but I think that adds to the threat of the spiders, though, because there's one that he's hitting and the spider keeps getting back whenever he's about to swing the axe at him. And I was like, these are smart fucking spiders.
Yeah. So we should note that as he was running back up with the axe, Nora has returned home. And she is not processing any of this very well. She does okay. Like she definitely barely seems to clock that Peter is now a human monkey. But when she walks in on the lion on her bed, and the lion is 100% just like, "Hey girl, what's up?"
It's like yawning.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, I just had the best dream. Let me tell you all about it." "Wait, where are you going?" "Hey, where are you going?" Yeah, so she ends up, Nora does, backing into a closet. It's, the usual comedic antics, pratfalls, everything falls on her. She just kind of collapses, and Peter shuts the door and locks it on her.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we do not see Nora again after this scene.
We 100% do not, and it's one of my complaints about the end of this film.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so we have gotten rid of the hysterical adult because we're still playing this game. Hey, it's your turn, Sarah. The problem is you can't use your hands. And Judy, just bring her the dice, put them in her mouth. She'll spit them out into the board. It's totally fine. Oops, Judy just got tranked because Chekhov's plant.
This was... Because we don't really get Judy much after this scene either, because she gets knocked out. But this happens so quickly, though. It's very quickly, but it's also like, oh wow, this movie is kind of established like these kids are actually they're not really in any real danger. We're not going to kill these kids.
But also, the things that befall them are significant enough that you think they need to win this fucking game immediately because they are running out of time.
And so Judy, she gets like this plant pops up out of the floorboards, shoots poison barbs in her.
Right into her.
Oh man, it's a beautiful purple flower too.
I also like that it doesn't just immediately knock her out. Like, she still is able to bring the dice over and bring the board so that Judy can get her roll in. And like, then you see Judy is kind of starting to teeter and wobble a little bit. So I like that she can still be useful before she is fully essentially taken off the board.
Yeah. But then so Sarah rolls, and I do remember, because it's the last clue we're gonna get, and just the way Bonnie Hunt delivers this, it sounds so like dread-inducing. She's like, "You're almost there with much at stake, but now the ground begins to quake."
Yeah. They take forever to kind of figure out, oh wow, this is going to get bad.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I heard quake, I thought, oh, they need to move again.
Well, I actually love the way this is presented too, because again, the score is kicking in here. We're getting some really good ominous score from James Horner, but like everything, just like the spiders just stop.
And that should be alarming, everybody.
And I wrote in my notes, it's like the aliens and aliens, whenever like the queen comes in, they all back away, and they're like, oh, we're getting out of here because
something worse is coming. Yeah. So, needless to say, the house fully fucking splits into vertically, and this, I mean, I mentioned Twister earlier, but that's what it kind of feels like, right? That Bill Paxton scene where he's got to make his way up. This is just a straight 3-story vertical drop. So, sure, Alan is free now, and so is Sarah, but she's basically holding on to him for dear life, because if not, he's going to fall, I think,
to the center of the earth.
I mean, it seems to go down forever. It's like, what are we doing, Jumanji? You're terrifying. But I think Robin Williams was actually not great with heights. You can actually see him doing this. He had both of his feet on a plank of wood, so it's not like he was actually hanging or anything. But he, I don't think, enjoyed doing this vine swing. I love the moment where he basically rubs up against the lion and it takes a swipe at him.
Oh, I know.
He's got to grab the game board. Because of course we do. Of course we do. It's so expected, but it's still so satisfying.
I actually think, and maybe in a PG-13 version of this movie, that lion would have killed Van Pelt.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would have been satisfying, actually.
It would have been very poetic. Poetic justice.
So, needless to say, we basically have Alan with the board. He's got the dice, and he is the one who can finish the game. So, he needs to roll the die. Unfortunately, this is when Van Pelt shows up. So, he's covered in paint. He's holding Alan at gunpoint, and he basically says, put the board game down. So, Alan drops the dice. So we're rolling, and of course we've got the never-ending die roll.
Yeah. The movie doesn't make it clear, and this is important, if you have to hit the end the game with an exact dice roll, or if you can roll like a 5 when you need a 3 and it's fine. And
I very much got the impression it was you just need to roll to get the piece onto or past the center.
I feel like that's probably the case, but because Alan's roll is a 3, exactly what he needs to get to the end, we don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, no. So we watch it roll in perpetuity. It goes like down the stairs, practically into the crevice of this earthquaked house. But meanwhile, Van Pelt is fully preparing to shoot him. This is when Sarah runs up, and you think, oh God, are we going to do this thing where she martyrs herself and she dies or she gets hit? But no, the bullet just pauses in midair because, yes, we have reached Jumanji. Alan says it because that's how you finish the game. And then the whirlwind begins. So we suck Van Pelt as well animals, every single animal that is outside of the house into a kind of tornado that all goes into the center of the game.
I do love that the final touch is that Van Pelt's head doesn't fully fit through this disc.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of a blowhard, so tracks.
He does. But yeah, then, it's kind of is it a match cut to where we have adult Alan and Sarah hugging, and then we match cut to child Alan and Sarah hugging?
Yes, so we have essentially been transported back in time. They are back into their childhood bodies. It's 1969. Trace, I put in my notes, oh wow, this is a full-fledged cop-out. Because I don't even care if they retain their memories. Like, I think we get a kind of kiss me before we start to forget thing when they go and they toss the game over the bridge. Mm-hmm. But I kind of hate that it undoes everything. It feels like it was all a dream, and I don't like it. No, I get it, right? Like you essentially give these characters their childhoods back, but I don't like it. I wanted them to just stay as adults and continue to have a relationship with Peter and Judy. I
forgot, right, because that's the surrogate family, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and Nora can still be in the mix. She's just, unconscious or whatever in the room closet there. So
I fully agree. And even as a kid, I always thought the exact same thing, where I was like, I really just hate that we just go back and do this. I do care more about the memories. And I'm at least happy that Alan and Sarah do remember everything.
Yes.
It does bother me that Peter and Judy don't, because they didn't experience it, And it's
because they're not even born yet.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I fully agree with you. It's something I always wish was a little bit different, which actually now, even thinking about it, I'm like, wait. Mm-hmm. So with these reboots, we have, Nora back in the movies, which apparently she is going to be in that third one, by the way, which I'm just like, oh my God, would they get Kirsten Dunst back? I don't think she'd do it, but, maybe. Who knows? She likes money.
I was going to say, if they back up enough fucking money, she will do it. But yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't bring the kids back, why we couldn't bring Bonnie Hunt back. And obviously, I think you would just have to acknowledge that Alan may be passed.
Yeah, because the only real reference that they do reference Alan Parrish in the first one, because when they get in the jungle, they find his old home in the jungle where it has scratched in like Alan Parrish was here or something like that.
Right.
But because Judy and Peter don't have any recollection of this, it wouldn't actually make a lot of sense for Kirsten Dunst to come back in another one unless they retcon it and fix it.
Well, or it'd be easy enough to say, okay, they move to this town and the action is still maybe set in this town. So it's easy enough to be like, oh, there's the shopkeep. And you're like, oh, we could get her into the adventure or something like I don't know. It's not that hard a creative exercise to bring in legacy characters.
Yeah, again, they can just say, they can just do something where all of her memories come back. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so in this revised timeline, 5 minutes has passed. So Sam, the father, who is still played by Jonathan Hyde, comes back. We do get this touching moment where father and son hug it out. They say, we'll talk more about sending you to this private boys boarding school later on, but it's more about, okay, we'll talk about this like men tomorrow. And child Alan says, how about like father and son? Yeah. And it's nice. It does feel like a satisfying payoff, but I think this also would have hit that much harder if we had have gotten Peter and Alan having a variation of this earlier.
I think it's just the ultimate reminder that ultimately Alan is the protagonist of this story. This is not an ensemble piece. It is not about the other characters' journeys. This is about Alan's journey.
Yeah. Okay, so Alan, child Alan, and child Sarah toss the game over the bridge, and then we jump ahead to, I guess, quote unquote, present day, or the 26 years. So we're back in the same timeline because now we have adult Alan, once again, still played by Robin Williams, and then we have adult Sarah, who is heavily pregnant, and they are together romantically. They're hosting a Christmas party, and we see that they have invited Jim and Martha Shepard, who are played by Malcolm Stewart and Annabelle Kershaw, and these are the parents of Peter and Judy.
Not only have they invited them to this party, they work for him. I'm sorry, the dad works for him.
I was going to say, do the Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I work here now.
At the shoe factory. Pair of shoes, I love them so much, I work here now. Yeah, so they have basically done this so that they can see Peter and Judy again, and these kids clearly have no fucking idea who these spawning adults are, so it's very weird and uncomfortable because they're like, oh my god, Peter and Judy, we feel like we know you. It's like, you've been waiting 20 years for this reunion. It's so weird and kind of stupid, and I don't like it.
I mean, it's the thing where it's like, well, how are they to know that these kids would actually be real? Because even though they have all these memories of what happened, in this alternate future timeline they had, there's no reason for them to believe that these kids would actually exist 26 years later, much less be the children of one of their employees.
Well, I took it out to be that we researched who they were. And then
sought them out.
100%. This is why the dad works for them. It's because they extended an offer to get them to town. That's how I read it. Like, this is, in another version of this is super fucking nefarious. And it's like Peter and Judy eventually find out, those creepy adults lured our parents here with a job.
Well, to be fair, though, they did lure them there under the auspice of stopping them from dying at their ski vacation in Canada.
This is true. And I think it's a hilarious joke when these parents say, oh, yeah, we're about to go on vacation. And both Alan and Sarah just immediately go, No!
Okay, but here's the thing, though. This is a Christmas party. And they're like, oh, no, you can't go on your holiday ski vacation. We need you to get your work turned in next week. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, terrible boss alert. Cool. But also, how fucking hard would it have been to have said, and our aunt, my sister, came with us to help us make the trip or settle in. Have you met Nora? And Nora just goes like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh, that would have actually been really cool if Nora recognized it, but she wasn't sure. Ooh.
Yeah. Because Bebe Neuwirth literally disappeared into that fucking linen closet and was never seen again.
Yeah. Well,
and like Carl isn't at this party. Wouldn't it have been a fun opportunity to have been like, Carl still works for the company. He's not a police officer.
Yeah.
He stayed with us because we undid because young Alan took the fall. He actually came clean to his father when we transitioned back and said, it was me with the sneakers. So part of me is like, does Carl still become a police officer or does he continue to work for the parish?
Yeah, honestly, it should have been, he's like a co-owner or partner with Alan. That's what it should have been.
Yeah, and also it's another opportunity to bring Alan Greer back.
Yeah.
Because he is never seen after he and Nora ride those fucking doors to Narnia, I guess.
So, yeah, poor Nora and Carl are just really getting the short shaft narratively in this movie.
Well, as you said, I think if nothing else, this is confirmation that Alan is actually the true protagonist of the film. It's not him and Sarah. It's not him and the kids. And also that Nora and Carl were not really characters. They were just comedic relief.
I wonder if in the original draft that Robin Williams turned down, if maybe Alan wasn't necessarily the protagonist of the film, if it was more focused on Judy and Peter.
I'm still surprised that they aren't the de facto protagonist.
Yeah.
Like, I like that for most of the duration of the film, it does seem like we truly have 4 protagonists and it's like 2 adults and 2 kids.
Yeah.
And then, it's really just in these last couple of moments that you realize, this is all about Alan's story. But I could see a world where Robin Williams is like, I'm kind of the star. Like, is this a starring role for me or is it me and these kids?
Right. And the fact of the matter is, though, we don't know. I'm just speculating here. But I just would love to know, what the previous versions of this story were going to be. Because, again, we know they went through several drafts before they even took it to Williams in the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think of this non-starter of a tease for a sequel? So it's just 2 French girls find the box on a beach, and you think, are we supposed to be in France?
I don't know where we are.
This?
Because I was like, okay, well, they're in New Hampshire, and they drop it in a body of water. Supposedly, this water does take you to the Atlantic Ocean, but then this game floated all the way
across the ocean.
But Joe,
like what? It took them 26 years to find this because that's how long the travel was?
Probably. But when I tell you, Joe, that I really wanted that sequel when I was a kid, where I was like, oh yeah, like what are we going to get? And we never got that sequel until I was, 28 years old. And it wasn't even the sequel that I wanted.
You were Alan. You were waiting for the sequel this whole time. It took 28 years.
Oh my God, it's wild. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun little stinger of a tease, but whatever. I am genuinely surprised we did not get a sequel to this movie sooner.
100%. I cannot believe that they couldn't figure their shit out to try to get this back earlier. I mean, maybe we should be glad because as we both said at the top, that sequel, when we finally get it, is solid. Like, it doesn't quite capture the same spirit as this. It doesn't have that darkness, which I am missing, but it's pretty good, all things considered.
Huh?
But yeah, I cannot believe that this movie made as much money and has goodwill. Like, people like this movie. They remember it fondly. I cannot believe that they couldn't figure it out sooner and be like, how do we continue to make money off Jumanji?
I wonder too, maybe the cartoon show was like, cool, we're going to do that instead. And it's like, oh, maybe we're making money off the board game, I guess, because all these kids are going to want to buy it. But
sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, okay, everyone, that has been Jumanji. Thank you for going on this journey with us. And before we announce we're covering next week, some quick housekeeping. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers. Shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, join our Horror Queers Discord. That link is in the show notes. If you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you'll get 443 hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on Hannibal, the rest of Hannibal Season 2, with episodes 11 through 13, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, The Housemaid, Wake Up Dead Man, and to coincide with that third Benoit Blanc mystery, we've also got an audio commentary on the original Knives Out. And there's more! As a special holiday treat, we're also dropping our audio commentary from this year's Soho Horror Fest on Scream 3.
Yeah, people want it, we're gonna give it to you.
But Joe...
Yes.
It's snowy season, so next week's pick seems apt. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we've got 2 episodes left before we will ring in the new year, and we have programmed a couple of titles that are probably going to do garbage numbers because nobody listens to podcasts at this time of the year, but we are trying to go seasonally appropriate, and a film that you and I both quite like that we think is underrated, underseen and underrated. So we're going to stick with the holidays, and we're going to accompany Rachel Nichols on the worst night at work and talk about P2.
P2! I definitely saw this in theaters.
Okay, I did not. I saw this way late. I was just like, oh, this is super fun. Why didn't I check this out earlier?
And make no mistake, this is not like, the revelatory horror film that you missed out on, but it's really, really, really solid. Yeah, it's really entertaining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a good time.
Yeah. But, okay, well, until next week, we can cross out Jumanji.
Indeed. And cross out Horror Queers.
A cinematic fever dream based on the visionary game.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
No one said it would be easy.
Return to Silent Hill. Exclusively in theaters, January 23rd.